Chapter 367. When the disciples in the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's main hall saw Sui Zihan leading 400 to 500 Sui family's experts in an aggressive manner, their faces tightened. The other families and sects' disciples in the main hall quickly moved away when they saw the Sui family's experts swarming in. It's Sui Zihan. He brought so many master gods here, what's going on? Some of the experts were trying to guess Sui Zihan's intentions. Young Master Zihan. A True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's steward hurried over, cupping his fists at Sui Zihan. May I know what business young Master Zihan has with the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce? What do you want to buy? Although the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce was a powerful dragon, they were still wary of the Sui family, the local tyrant of the Brahma Moon continent. Therefore, they were extremely polite to Sui Zihan. Sui Zihan glanced at the steward and asked coldly, "Where is the blue-robed young man and the golden retriever man who came in just now?" The blue-robed young man and the golden retriever man. The steward was stunned, then he thought of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao who were invited into the inner hall by their president. May I know why young Master Zihan is looking for them? The steward asked with a smile. Sui Zihan's face sank. So, you know where they are now. Tell them to come out. If I don't see them in 5 minutes, I'll smash your True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's main hall. The steward was stunned, but he could tell that Sui Zihan wasn't joking. If he said he would smash their main hall, he would really do it. If it were an ordinary Sui family's disciple, he would have already ordered them to leave, but Sui Zihan wasn't an ordinary Sui family's disciple, he was the Sui family's core disciple and Sui Tai's nephew. The steward told Sui Zihan to wait for a while, then turned around and entered the inner hall. He couldn't make the decision on this matter, so he could only report it to their president. In the inner hall, Xia Yun, Lu Yiping, and Taurus Longjiao were chatting happily when the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's steward came in, reporting that Sui Zihan had led a large group of Sui family's experts to meet Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. He said that if he didn't see them in 5 minutes, he would smash the Chamber of Commerce's main hall. Sui Zihan. Xia Yun frowned and looked at Lu Yiping and the Dragon Horn Golden Bull. Lu Yiping said to the Dragon Horn Golden Bull, "Let's go out and take a look." Then he and the Dragon Horn Golden Bull walked towards the hall. Xia Yun's experts of Dragon Hall were of Sui, Sui's of Sui families of 100 and Sui families experts Sui of 1,000 families' family SSS. Had Zihan of 9 experts behind Sui. Seeing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao come out, Sui Zihan's face was filled with anger. "You're finally out." Taurus Longjiao looked at Sui Zihan's angry face and said, "In the Red Moon Forest, my master didn't kill you, you brat, you should be glad. You actually wanted to find people to seek revenge." He then looked at the Sui family's experts behind Sui Zihan, "But, you only brought these ugly melons and dates?" Ugly melons and dates? Sui Zihan and the Sui family's experts were enraged. One of the Sui family's experts couldn't help but step forward, sending a punch at Taurus Longjiao. Blue waves surged to the sky, a sea of flames surged, and a storm swept out. Layers of lightning turned into lightning snakes, and giant green vines coiled around them. This Sui family's expert was a water, fire, wind, lightning, and wood over god. Water, fire, wind, lightning, and wood elemental energy had reached 70 different types. Lightning elemental energy had reached 90 different types. The main hall shook. Even with the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's defensive formation, it still felt like it was about to collapse. Facing the Sui family's 5 elemental overgods attack, Taurus Longjiao didn't even look at it. He directly sent out a palm, and the Sui family's water, fire, wind, lightning, and wood elemental attack collapsed. The Sui family's expert only felt a terrifying force coming at him. His eyes widened in shock, and he wanted to retreat, but he was too slow. He was instantly struck by Taurus Longjiao's palm, and he exploded on the spot. A 5 elemental overgod, dead. Everyone was stunned. Although this Sui family's 5 elemental overgod hadn't cultivated all of his elemental energy to perfection, he had cultivated over 70 different types of energy in each elemental energy, and had even cultivated 90 different types of lightning elemental energy. His strength was absolutely shocking, comparable to an ordinary 6 elemental overgod. However, he had exploded with a single palm. True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's President Xia Yun's eyes narrowed. Taurus Longjiao hadn't used any Heaven's Mandate energy, nor did he use any Origin Law energy. That palm strike just now seemed to be the strength of Taurus Longjiao's physical body. Just the strength of his physical body was enough to kill a 5 elemental overgod? Sui Zihan and the Sui family's experts were stunned for a moment before they reacted. Uncle Tating. Sui Zihan cried out in grief as he looked at the Sui family's expert who had exploded. The one who had just been killed by Taurus Longjiao was a Sui family's grand overgod, one of Sui Zihan's uncles, and also Sui Tai's younger brother. Kill them for me. Sui Zihan roared with bloodshot eyes. The Sui family's experts were enraged, and they all rushed forward to attack Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly as he looked at the 400 Sui family's overgods charging at him. The Sui family's experts felt their hearts tremble, and in the next moment, heaven and earth shook violently as one giant chaos fate after another flew out. Each chaos fate was 139,999 li long. There were 13 in total. Peak level 13 chaos fate. And there were 13 of them. Everyone exclaimed when they saw the 13 peak level 13 chaos fate in the sky. Whether it was Sui Zihan, Xia Yun, or the other experts, they were all shocked. The 13 chaos fate shone brightly, and layers of chaos chi turned into thousands of chaos lightning dragons that charged at the Sui family's overgods. The chaos chi formed by the 13 chaos fate was far stronger than the Sui family's experts had imagined. Wherever the chaos lightning dragons passed, the Sui family's overgods were all blasted away, and they were all blasted into smithereens. Explosions rang out in the main hall as the Sui family's overgods were blasted apart. When the chaos lightning dragons finally stopped, none of the Sui family's 400 overgods were left standing. To be more precise, none of them were alive. The ground was covered in blood. The surrounding space was filled with the power of totems, chaos fate, and laws. Of the Sui family's experts, only Sui Zihan was left. Taurus Longjiao looked at Sui Zihan. Sui Zihan's expression changed drastically, and fear filled his eyes. Taurus Longjiao struck out with his palm, and the ground shook violently. Sui Zihan was pressed into the ground by Taurus Longjiao's palm, and he was blasted apart just like the Sui family's experts. The experts in the surroundings shuddered when they saw Sui Zihan's corpse. Lu Yiping turned to Xia Yun and said, "Since it's all cleaned up, President Xia, let's continue our discussion in the inner hall." Seeing Sui Zihan and the Sui family's overgods being slapped to death, Xia Yun came back to his senses and said with difficulty, "All right, Master Lu, please." Chapter 368. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were invited back into the inner hall by Xia Yun. When Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Xia Yun disappeared, the hall was in an uproar. The Sui family was the undisputed #1 family in the Brahma Moon continent. Not to mention several hundred overgods, even the death of several hundred heavens will god kings would shock the Brahma Moon continent, not to mention that Sui Zihan was also killed. However, what shocked them even more was the 13 peak level 13 chaos wills. Everyone's mind was filled with the scene of 13 peak level 13 chaos wills in the sky. Sui Tai loved his nephew, Sui Zihan, and often went back to the Sui family to teach him. Now that Sui Zihan is dead, what do you think Sui Tai will do? Since Sui Zihan was killed, the Sui clan will definitely not let it go, right? Everyone discussed. In the Sui family, Sui Juanru opened the message talisman and was stunned for a long time. Then, he cried out, "Zihan." Half an hour later, Sui Juanru knelt in front of the Sui family's patriarch, Sui Kuewen, and the other ancestors. His eyes were red as he kowtowed. Patriarch, please avenge Zihan. Sui Kuewen didn't say anything and the hall was silent. The strongest ancestor of the Sui family, Sui Yukuan, said, 13 peak level 13 chaos wills is a miracle. We have to be careful and investigate this person's identity. Sui Juanru was stunned. Ancestor, you mean that the Sui family will forget about Zihan's death? Sui Kuewen sighed, Juanru, Zihan is a genius of our Sui clan. Everyone here loves Zihan, and we're all saddened by Zihan's death. We want to crush the other party to death, but Lu Yiping's background is unknown. Moreover, he possesses a peak level 13 chaos fate. Our Sui clan has to be cautious. Sui Juanru's face paled. At this time, Sui Tai of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect clenched his fist and crushed the message talisman. Smashed into meat paste. Red Moon City. Sui Tai's eyes were red as he said in a low voice, Zihan, don't worry. Uncle won't let you die in vain. With that, he flew into the sky and disappeared. Sui Tai's divine armor flickered as his figure flashed in the void at an astonishing speed. The divine armor he was wearing was an upper-grade Khanate supreme treasure forged by the Thousand Souls Divine Sect, called the Taishian Divine Armor. The mysterious divine armor had a time divine formation carved into it. Sui Tai had activated the time divine formation of the mysterious divine armor to travel through time and space towards Red Moon City. After staying for half an hour, and Long Jiao S. and Taurus Long. After leaving the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce, Lu Yiping did not immediately leave Red Moon City. Instead, he stayed in Red Moon City with the Dragon Horn Golden Bull. Lu Yiping had branded Black Wind Old Monster by Fei's soul. Therefore, he was currently waiting in Red Moon City for Zi Mingji of the Purple Extreme Devil Race to come and find Bai Fei. This time, Lu Yiping had not only asked the True Dragon Merchant Guild to search for the Builder Tree and Buzhou Mountain Stone, but also to inquire about Tian Hong. Though he didn't know Tian Hong's identity, he knew Tian Hong's physical characteristics from Zhao Tao's memory fragments. Tian Hong was tall, almost 2 meters in height. His palms were abnormally thick, and there was a green spot in his left eye. Although it was difficult to identify Tian Hong based on these physical characteristics, it was better than nothing. Several days later, the Sui family also heard that Lu Yiping had killed the Blood Demon sect's patriarch Li Yu with 49 totems. The Sui family was shocked to learn that Lu Yiping had 49 totems. Early morning. The sun was bright. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were cultivating in a mansion. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the sky above the Red Moon City. It was Sui Tai from the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. Sui Tai appeared in the sky above the Red Moon City. He didn't hide his aura, and it enveloped the entire city. It's Sui Tai from the Sui family. It's Sui Tai. When the experts recognized the person in the sky, they were all shocked. After Sui Zihan's death, everyone was guessing if the Sui family and Thousand Souls Divine Sect would send experts. Xia Yun of the True Dragon Merchant Guild was also surprised when he heard that Sui Tai had come. Mysterious Divine Armor. Xia Yun was shocked when he saw the armor on Sui Tai's body. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect used all their resources to forge this armor, and it's really given to Sui Tai. When the Thousand Souls Divine Sect used all their resources to forge this armor, it shocked the entire Brahma Moon continent. Everyone guessed that the armor was for the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's sect master, but now, it was given to Sui Tai. From this, one could see how much the Thousand Souls Divine Sect valued and protected Sui Tai. I heard that Sui Tai has already comprehended 10 laws, and each of them has comprehended 99 types of energy. An expert of the True Dragon Merchant Guild said, with Sui Tai's battle prowess, I'm afraid that many 11 or even 12 overgods wouldn't be his match. After a pause, he continued, I wonder if Lu Yiping and the others can contend with Sui Tai. Xia Yun was also curious about Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's true strength. He could see that Taurus Longjiao's strength wasn't his true strength. Lu, come out. I know you're still in the Red Moon City. Sui Tai scanned the Red Moon City and his cold voice resounded in the sky. Every corner of the Red Moon City could hear his voice. As soon as Sui Tai finished speaking, two figures, one blue and one gold, appeared in the sky. Seeing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao appear, Sui Tai walked towards them. High-grade innate cardinal treasure. Lu Yiping looked at the mysterious divine armor on Sui Tai's body and said. With a flash of light, a spear appeared in Sui Tai's hand. The spear was pitch black, and it emitted a black light that made one's heart palpitate. This spear was called the Divine Spear of Darkness, and it was a mid-grade innate cardinal treasure. Sui Tai's gaze landed on Taurus Longjiao. You're the one who killed my nephew, Sui Zihan. That's right. Taurus Longjiao said, I killed the several hundred overgods of the Sui family. Then you can die. Sui Tai's voice was low as he stabbed out with the spear in his hand. Water, wood, wind, fire, earth, metal, lightning, poison, darkness, and light, a total of 999 types of energy surged out. Darkness swallowed the sky, and light shone. Waves surged to the sky. Hurricanes tore through the world. Amidst the darkness and light, a pale green light shone out. This was the power of the law of poison. Just as the 999 types of energy surged out, the spear suddenly crossed through layers of space and arrived in front of Taurus Longjiao. It's the power of the law of space. Seeing Sui Tai's spear cross through layers of space, Xia Yun's eyes narrowed, and he's already comprehended 99 types. 1089 types of energy. Seeing the divine spear of darkness carrying 1089 types of energy, Taurus Longjiao raised his hand. Chapter 369. When Taurus Longjiao raised his hand, it was as if his palm was covered in the world's most dazzling golden light. Rays of golden light shot out, piercing the eyes of the Red Moon City's experts. Even Xia Yun and Sui Tai had never seen such a dazzling golden light. Taurus Longjiao's palm met the divine darkness spear. When everyone saw this, they could not help being stunned. He can't be thinking of blocking the divine darkness spear with his palm, right? An expert from the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce exclaimed. Xia Yun was also surprised. The divine darkness spear was a mid-grade innate artifact. The golden retriever beside Lu Yiping actually wanted to block the divine darkness spear's spear light with his bare hands. Sui Tai sneered seeing this. His strength increased once more, and the divine darkness spear's light became even more dazzling. A wave of law energy similar to the space law surged out. Of course, it was only similar and not space law energy. It's time law. An expert shouted. Moreover, it was the 99 types of time law energy. Sui Tai had also comprehended 99 types of time law energy. Xia Yun didn't expect Sui Tai to not only comprehend the first 10 types of laws to perfection, but also time and space laws to perfection. All 12 types of laws reached perfection, a total of 1188 types of energy. The spear shot towards Taurus Longjiao. Zheng. The divine darkness spear carried 1188 types of energy as it slammed into Taurus Longjiao's palm. The sound of the impact wasn't loud, but everyone's heart shook. This attack seemed to have struck their souls and hearts. Rays of light burst out. The divine darkness spear's various types of law energy exploded. However, the divine darkness spear didn't pierce through Taurus Longjiao's palm like everyone had expected. Taurus Longjiao stood there, his palm was like a golden mountain that supported the Jiutian mountain. The divine darkness spear on top of his palm shot out rays of light, but it didn't budge. Everyone saw that Taurus Longjiao's palm didn't even break the skin. Xia Yun was stunned. Sui Tai had a look of disbelief on his face. His attack, which contained 12 laws and 1,188 origins powers, was actually unable to break through a single palm of the golden retriever. The golden retriever man's palm stood there, as if no amount of power could cross it. While Sui Tai was still in disbelief, the world suddenly trembled violently. Chaos fates flew out one after another. The 26 chaos wills almost completely covered the sky above Crimson Moon City. When Taurus Longjiao's 26 primal chaos wills flew out, Crimson Moon City trembled violently. The ground began to crack as if 26 primal chaos mountains were pressing down from the sky. Crimson Moon City couldn't withstand this power. Red Moon City's experts felt their bodies sink. The weaker ones were directly pressed to the ground by the terrifying power passed down from the space. Even Sui Tai's heart sank. 26 Chaos Fates. Xia Yun and the experts of Red Moon City were shocked and they saw the 26 peak level, 13 chaotic fate beasts in the sky. The 26 chaos fates buzzed. Chaos chi roared, lightning condensed, and thousands of divine dragons flew out. Chaos lightning chi and chaos dragon chi rained down like 26 waterfalls. Even Sui Tai's 12 origins and 1,188 origins couldn't compare to the power of these 26 waterfalls. Sui Tai was terrified. He frantically activated the Arcana Divine Armor on his body, causing layers of arrays to shine. The armor had a total of 81 arrays. When all 81 arrays were activated, the power of the arrays caused the surrounding space to tremble. The power of the time array directly tore through the void. Sui Tai waved the dark divine spear in his hand, and the 12 origins clashed with the chaos lightning chi and chaos dragon chi. This time, Sui Tai's 12 origins included the chaos force. It's the chaos force of the chaos fate beasts, someone said. When a chaos fate beasts broke through to the overgod realm, their law power could fuse with the chaos fate beasts to produce chaos force. The higher the level of the chaos fate beasts, the stronger the chaos force. When Sui Tai was still a destiny beasts, although the chaos fate beasts he fused with wasn't Taurus Longjiao's peak level 13 chaos fate beasts, it was still a level 12 chaos fate beasts. Moreover, there were 24 of them, so the chaos force produced was still shocking. After Sui Tai attacked, he used the power of the Arcana Divine Armor's time array to escape. With a loud boom, Taurus Longjiao's Chaos Lightning Chi and Chaos Dragon Chi clashed with Sui Tai's 12 origins and chaos force. The world shook, and Crimson Moon City trembled. Terrifying shockwaves swept out in all directions. Chaos Chi shot out. The 12 origins beasts intersected with each other. The space and buildings in the upper world were 10,000 times more stable than in the lower world. However, under the impact of Taurus Longjiao and Sui Tai's power, the surrounding buildings were lifted up and spatial cracks spread out. Many of the god kings and overgods who had hidden extremely far away felt their scalps prickle when they saw this. The shockwave struck Sui Tai, who was escaping with the help of the Time Divine Array. The Taishian divine armor on Sui Tai's body trembled, and Sui Tai was pushed back for hundreds of miles. Sui Tai stood still, and he felt his blood boiling. His throat heated up, and blood oozed out from the corner of his mouth. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Taurus Longjiao with shock and anger. Looking at the 26 peak level 13 chaos fate beasts above Taurus Longjiao, he couldn't hide his shock. He had fused with a level 12 chaotic fate, but the gap between his power and a peak level 13 chaotic fate was so huge. His 24 level 12 chaotic fate and 12 law origins were still unable to fend off 26 peak level 13 chaotic fate. If it weren't for the Arcana Divine Armor, he would have been heavily injured. Peak level 13 chaos fate beasts are so strong, an expert from the Sun Moon Palace exclaimed. The Sun Moon Palace was a sect second only to the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. Probably only an overgod at the Great Perfection 13 Elemental Great Perfection Overgod can block the 26 peak level 13 Chaos Fate Beasts, Xia Yun exclaimed. While everyone was discussing, the dragon horn golden bull looked at Sui Tai-yi, who was pushed back, and said, "You're not weak." However, that was just a warm-up. Just a warm-up. Everyone became restless when they heard that. The attack from the 26 peak level 13 Chaos Fate Beasts was just a warm-up. Then, what kind of attack would come next? Everyone saw Taurus Longjiao raise his hands. His palms shone with golden light as the law of metal surged out. However, everyone's eyes widened when they saw Taurus Longjiao's law of metal. Taurus Longjiao didn't have 99 types of law of metal, but 100. 100 types of law of metal. What was going on? Were their eyes playing tricks on them? Chapter 370. Xia Yun and Sui Tai's eyes widened. Everyone knew that there were 13 types of laws in this world, and each type had 99 types of energy. Even the barbarian dragon ruler had 99 types of energy. No one had ever heard of anyone comprehending 100 types of energy from one type. While everyone was in disbelief, Taurus Longjiao's lightning energy surged from his palms. 99 types. After 99 types of lightning energy, another type of lightning energy surged out. 100 types. Seeing that Taurus Longjiao also had 100 types of lightning energy, everyone was shaken once more. Moreover, they could sense that whether it was Taurus Longjiao's 100th type of metal energy or lightning energy, they were both extremely terrifying. They were even more terrifying than the previous 99 types combined. Taurus Longjiao struck out with both palms. 100 types of the law of metal and 100 types of the law of lightning roared out, turning into an ocean of metal and an ocean of lightning. Chaos energy surged within the sea of metal and lightning. It was the chaos energy produced after the metal and lightning laws merged with the 26 peak level 13 chaos wills. All 26 of them were at the peak of the 13th level. The primal chaos force produced by these 26 primal chaos wills was extremely vast. The sky above Crimson Moon City began to crumble inch by inch. Layers of space were constantly being shattered. The Golden Ocean and the Lightning Ocean instantly arrived in front of Sui Tai-yi with the power to destroy heaven and earth. Sui Tai-yi panicked and didn't have time to think. He activated all the arrays in his Taishian divine armor and frantically retreated. At the same time, he struck out with the dark divine spear. The power of the 12 laws shone brightly. Along with his chaos destiny, the chaos force collided with the metal ocean and the lightning ocean. But this time, his 12 types of laws and chaos energy were instantly blasted away by the sea of metal and lightning. The sea of metal and lightning didn't stop and continued to attack him. Unable to retreat, Sui Tai roared in anger and a blood-red mist ignited on his body. Clearly, he was using the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's forbidden technique to temporarily increase his strength. As the blood-red mist rose, Sui Tai's Taishian divine armor shone brightly and the power of the 81 arrays increased once more. Numerous large array runes twined around his body, forming a supreme mystic defensive barrier. When the Taishian defense enchantment was formed, the Golden Ocean and the Thunder Ocean crashed onto the Taishian divine armor. A hissing sound exploded. The Taishian spirit barrier was like a layer of ice. After being hit by 2 huge meteors from Jiutian, the Taishian spirit barrier collapsed and exploded. One by one, the formation runes exploded in the air like ice shards. The mysterious divine armor, which had been shining brightly, suddenly dimmed. All 81 great formations stopped operating. Sui Tai felt his body tremble. He was like a kite with its string cut as he was sent flying. After smashing through countless buildings in Red Moon City, he fell into a pile of ruins. The experts in Red Moon City were shocked beyond words when they saw the law of metal and law of lightning surrounding Taurus Longjiao. 100 types of metal elemental laws of nature. 100 types of law of lightning. The power was so strong that even the Taishian divine armor couldn't withstand it. The Golden Bull ignored the crowd and pulled Sui Tai, who was on the verge of death, out of the ruins in the distance. Then, It pulled off the mysterious divine armor on Sui Taiyi's body. He's not going to kill Sui Taiyi, is he? Feeling the chill from Taurus Longjiao, the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's expert stuttered. As soon as he said that, he saw Taurus Longjiao pierce Sui Taiyi's body with a finger. Sui Taiyi was sent flying. In mid-air, he turned into a rain of blood that fluttered about. The experts from Red Moon City and the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce were stunned when they saw Sui Taiyi's body turn into a rain of blood. Sui Taiyi is dead. Many experts from various sects and clans stared at the rain of blood in disbelief. Sui Taiyi was known as the most monstrous genius in the history of the Sui clan, as well as the most monstrous genius in the history of the Fan Yu continent. He had the potential to become a supreme ruler in the future. He was worshipped by countless disciples of the Fan Yu continent, but now, he had died in Red Moon City. Thinking of the terrible consequences of Sui Taiyi's death, even Xia Yun, the president of True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's Brahma Moon City branch, paled. Xia Yun didn't know when Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left. He stood there in a daze, thinking of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect and the Sui family's wrath and razing Red Moon City to the ground. The experts of True Dragon Chamber of Commerce and Red Moon City also thought of the same thing. Their faces paled and their eyes were filled with fear. Now, they didn't have the time to think about how Taurus Longjiao comprehended the 100 types of law of metal and law of lightning. President, should we leave Red Moon City first? One of the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's experts stuttered. If the Sui family and the Thousand Souls Divine Sect were enraged, everyone in Red Moon City would be buried with them. Xia Yun took a deep breath and said, I will report this to the higher-ups and see what they say. He took out the communication talisman and contacted the higher-ups. Soon, he received a reply. After reading the reply, Xia Yun said solemnly, order all True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's disciples to leave Red Moon City. Almost at the same time, many families and sects in Red Moon City also gave the order to leave Red Moon City. The crowd rushed out of Red Moon City in a rush. Sui family. The strongest ancestor of the Sui family, Sui Yukuan, looked at the communication talisman in his hand. His eyes were blank and his body was stiff. His hands trembled as he said, he's dead. Sui family's patriarch, Sui Kuiwen, had a bad feeling when he saw Sui Yukuan holding the communication talisman with trembling hands. Ancestor, what are you doing? Sui Kuiwen asked. Many ancestors in the hall were puzzled. Sui Yukuan looked at Sui Kuiwen and the others in the hall. His eyes were blank and lifeless. His voice seemed to come from another world, Taiyi is dead. Taiyi was dead. Sui Yukuan's voice resounded in the ears of Sui Kuiwen and the Sui family's ancestors. Dead? Sui Kuiwen's voice trembled. Sui Yukuan handed the communication talisman to Sui Kuiwen. Sui Kuiwen took it and looked at it. The more he looked at it, the more his hands trembled and his face turned paler. His killing intent grew stronger and his eyes turned redder. The Sui family's ancestors came over and looked at the communication talisman. In an instant, the Sui family's main hall was filled with killing intent. Kill. After a long while, the strongest ancestor of the Sui family, Sui Yukuan's voice was filled with hatred and killing intent. At the same time, in the ancestral land of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect, a voice filled with hatred and killing intent rang out, kill. Soon, figures exuding powerful auras rushed into the sky from the Sui family's main hall. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect's army was even more majestic. Killing intent filled the air as they rushed towards Red Moon City. Chapter 371. Although there were only 101 people from the Sui family, every one of them had surpassed the over-god realm. God Emperors. All of them are God Emperors. When the experts from the Sui family were on their way to Crimson Moon City, they alerted many cities along the way. Some of the old ancestors were shocked and they sensed the aura of the experts from the Sui family. In some of the smaller continents, like the Blood Demon continent, Li Yu was only an over-god. But now, the Sui family had sent 100 god emperors. No, the leader is a god ancestor. God ancestor Qian Long from the Sui family. Many experts recognize the old man from the Sui family. God ancestor Qian Long was a figure from more than 10 million years ago. 10 million years ago, his name had spread across the Brahma Moon continent and the surrounding continents. Everyone was shocked to see that the Sui family had sent a god ancestor. A god ancestor was the ancestor of all gods. Even in the vast divine world, a god ancestor was an overlord. After reaching the god ancestor realm, they rarely showed themselves. While the experts from the Sui family were on their way to Crimson Moon City, the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's army shocked the experts from the other cities. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect's army consisted of 1,000 god emperors. 10 god ancestors. When the experts from the Sui family and the Thousand Souls Divine Sect arrived at Crimson Moon City, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were cultivating under the Tree of Creation. Lu Yiping's body was surrounded by profound yellow qi and saint light. Suddenly, Lu Yiping, who was cultivating, stopped. He had left a mark on Bai Fei's soul. Just now, he sensed that Zi Mingji from the Purple Extreme Demon clan had come to contact Bai Fei. Lu Yiping had been waiting for Zi Mingji to appear. Immediately, Lu Yiping put away the Tree of Creation and left Crimson Moon City with Taurus Longjiao. Soon after Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left Crimson Moon City, an expert reported to Sui family's god ancestor, Sui Qianlong. Lu Yiping escaped. Sui Qianlong's face turned cold. Pass down the order to seal the Fanhua continent. I want to see how they escape. The experts of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect also ordered the Brahma Moon continent to be sealed off. At this moment, in a mansion in Rongzu City, Rong Ping, the fifth daughter of the Rong family, was having a banquet with some friends to play the zither and discuss Taoism. Sitting across from Rong Ping was Lan Chuxin, a direct disciple of one of the Sun Moon Palace's ancestors. Lan Chuxin stopped playing a song and suddenly sighed with emotion. In the past, there were always 5 of us. Now that brother Zihan isn't here, it feels much quieter. A beautiful woman sitting beside Rong Ping snorted coldly, Zihan will not die in vain. That Lu Yiping and his subordinates will not be able to escape. The beautiful woman was the daughter of the Divine Snow Phoenix Sect Master, Yu Yan. I don't know where this Lu guy came from. I didn't expect him to have 26 peak level 13 chaotic fate beasts. He's also comprehended 100 types of metal and lightning laws. Lan Chuxin frowned. Even Lord Tai died at his hands. I really don't know how his subordinates comprehended 100 types of power. If his subordinates can comprehend 100 types of power, then Lu Yiping must have comprehended 100 types of power as well. Rong Ping recalled the scene in the Red Moon Forest and said hatefully, it's too bad that I'm too weak. Otherwise, I would have trampled Lu Yiping and Bai Feifei to death. Lan Chuxin looked at Rong Ping and said, I heard that your Rong family has a guard captain who is from the Purple Extreme Demon race. Rong Ping shook her head. Our Rong family has already investigated clearly. Bai Fei is not from the Purple Extreme Demon race. It's all Lu Yiping's nonsense. At this time, somewhere in Rong Ping's mansion, Bai Fei was respectfully kneeling before an expert in a black robe and a ghost mask. Master, this is what you're looking for. Bai Fei respectfully presented a silver stone to Zi Mingji. It was because of this silver stone's importance that Zi Mingji was so anxious to see Bai Fei. He was wearing the Purple Extreme Demon race's special robe that concealed his aura. Therefore, he wasn't worried about being discovered by Rong Ping's experts. Zi Mingji received the silver stone. After carefully inspecting it, his face lit up with joy. Well done. Bai Fei smiled, it's all thanks to Master's nurturing. Just as Zi Mingji was about to speak, he looked up and saw 2 figures, one blue and one gold, appear in the air above the mansion without any warning, walking towards the 2 of them. Zi Mingji was stunned. The two figures were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Since Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not conceal their auras, when Lu Yiping and Bai Fei appeared, Rong Ping, Lan Chuxin, Yu Yan, and the others also noticed Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Lan Chuxin and the others didn't recognize Lu Yiping, but when Rong Ping saw Lu Yiping, her face tightened. Her eyes turned frosty as she spat, "Lu Yiping." Lan Chuxin, Yu Yan, and the others were dumbfounded. "He's Lu Yiping." Yu Yan's gaze turned frosty. She turned to the two experts beside her and said, "Elders, please kill him." The two divine Snow Phoenix sect elders complied respectfully and leaped into the air. When the two of them flew into the air, the energy in their bodies was fully circulated, shocking waves of energy swept out. Both of them were God Emperor realm experts. A God Emperor was above the Master God realm, the Emperor of Gods. Subsequently, two avatars that looked exactly the same as them flew out from their bodies. These were the avatars of God Emperor realm experts. Both avatars were 3,000 zhang tall. One was shrouded in lightning, while the other was surrounded by raging tornadoes. Clearly, one was a lightning element avatar, and the other was a wind element avatar. When one was a God King and Master God, the stronger the heavenly mandate they integrated with, the stronger the law they comprehended. Thus, when they broke through to God Emperor realm, the stronger the avatar they condensed would be. An ordinary God Emperor realm expert's avatar would only be several dozen zhang tall, whereas these two divine Snow Phoenix sect elders' avatars were 3,000 zhang tall. The two elders summoned their avatars, and the long swords in their hands slashed at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. When the two elders' long swords slashed at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, the two elders' avatars attacked at the same time. The two elders' avatars were no weaker than their main bodies, and it was equivalent to 4 people attacking at the same time. At this time, Zimingji knew that his identity had been exposed, so he activated the divine robe on his body and turned into a streak of purple light, wanting to escape. Lu Yiping stared at the two elders of the divine Snow Phoenix sect as his expression turned cold. Lightning flashed around his body, causing the space to tremble. Behind him, a towering figure appeared. When this figure appeared, the heavens and earth darkened. Countless bolts of lightning surged around this figure, and he held a lightning hammer in his hand. Just the lightning hammer in his hand alone was 100,000 zhang long. A terrifying lightning tribulation aura swept through the world. All the experts in Rongzhou City were alarmed. Many figures flew out of the Rong family's headquarters. When the experts of the Rong family's headquarters saw the towering figure, they were all shocked. "This is an avatar." The Rong family patriarch trembled. An ordinary God Emperor's avatar would only be several dozen zhang tall. The avatars of the divine Snow Phoenix sect elders could be considered strong if they were 3,000 zhang tall. 1,000 zhang tall avatar was rare. In the past, the barbaric dragon sovereign's avatar was only 10,000 zhang tall. Chapter 372. According to the records, the primordial heavenly emperor's avatar was only 100,000 feet tall. As for 100,000 feet tall avatar, the Rong family patriarch and the rest had never heard of such a thing. Rong Ping, Lan Chuxin, Yu Yan, and the rest were dumbfounded when they saw the 10,000 feet tall figure behind Lu Yiping. Even Zimingji, who was running away, felt his legs trembling when he turned around to look at the darkening sky. At this time, the 10,000 feet tall figure behind Lu Yiping slammed down with a lightning hammer. Boundless divine lightning rained down like an apocalyptic tsunami. The two divine Snow Phoenix sect elders' sword chi was shattered in an instant. The terrifying power penetrated through the layers of space, smashing down from the sky. The two divine Snow Phoenix sect elders turned pale with fright. They didn't even dare to resist as they fled frantically. They even executed the divine Snow Phoenix sect's strongest escape technique, the Phoenix Cry Jiutian. The two divine Snow Phoenix sect elders turned into 2 streaks of white divine flames, trying to escape from the lightning hammer's attack range. However, Just as they turned around to flee, they felt the space around them tremble. Terrifying lightning chi engulfed them. The two divine snow phoenix sect elders fell from the sky like falling stones. Even after the two divine snow phoenix sect elders were hit by the terrifying lightning chi, the 100,000 feet tall lightning hammer continued to smash down with devastating power. Rong Ping's residence was huge, spanning 100 miles, but it seemed so small in front of the lightning hammer. Looking at the descending lightning hammer, Rong Ping, Lan Chuxin, Yu Yan, and the rest paled. "Young lord, run!" The guard behind Lan Chuxin roared. At the same time, he grabbed Lan Chuxin's shoulder and dragged him out of the residence. The guard behind Rong Ping also carried Rong Ping away. Yu Yan also did the same. As for the other guards in the residence, they were also fleeing in panic. The residence was in chaos. Before the lightning hammer landed, the residence's buildings were smashed into smithereens by the surging lightning chi. Rumble. The lightning hammer finally landed on the ground. The two divine snow phoenix sect elders felt their bodies stiffen and they lost consciousness. The divine snow phoenix sect chief's daughter, Yu Yan, was also smashed into the ground by the lightning hammer. When the lightning hammer smashed into the ground, Rongzu City trembled. The entire mansion had already disappeared, and the surrounding buildings were also blown away by the rolling thunder chi, turning into dust. Rong Ping, Lan Chuxin, and the others who had escaped from the manor were also blown away by the lightning chi's remnant energy. When they crashed to the ground, they vomited blood. Everyone was aghast. Looking from afar, the surroundings of the residence were filled with rolling sand and lightning. Sand and dust flew everywhere, covering an unknown distance. Lu Yiping put away the thunder hammer, and with a suction force from his hand, he pulled the fleeing Zi Mingji back. Zi Mingji looked at Lu Yiping, who was right in front of him. He looked at Lu Yiping's figure that was still surging with lightning. He felt his entire body stiffen and his heart stop beating. Lu Yiping took Zi Mingji and didn't leave immediately. Instead, he looked in the direction of the Rong family's headquarters. "Does anyone else want to make a move?" Lu Yiping's voice was indifferent. However, there was no response from the Rong family's mansion. The Rong family's god ancestors didn't say anything. Even the Rong family's patriarch, who was a supreme god, didn't say anything. Lu Yiping stood there for a while, and after a while, he and Taurus Longjiao flew away with Zi Mingji, disappearing into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Rong Ping, Lan Chuxin, and the others crawled out from the ruins. When they saw that the mansion had completely disappeared and was replaced by a giant hammer-shaped pit, their faces turned pale and they trembled uncontrollably. "Yu Yan is dead?" Rong Ping's hands were shaking, and she couldn't hear anything around her. She came to the original location of the mansion and stood at the edge of the pit. Looking down, she saw that the thunder chi was still rising from the pit. Through the layers of thunder chi, she saw that there were only a few pools of blood at the bottom of the pit. Lan Chuxin and the others looked at the bottom of the pit, and they were all stunned. What happened in Rongzu City spread quickly. Sui Qianlong, the god ancestor of the Sui family, was shocked when he heard the report. A million feet lightning element avatar. The 100 god emperors of the Sui family also looked at each other. "Lord Qianlong, should we report this to the old ancestor?" One of the god emperors of the Sui family said weakly, pointing at Sui Yukuan. "A million feet lightning element avatar. What kind of concept was that?" For every 10 feet the avatar grew, its battle strength would increase. How terrifying would a million feet avatar's battle strength be? They couldn't imagine. If Lu Yiping really had a million feet lightning element avatar, they wouldn't be able to kill him. Even 1,000 god emperors wouldn't be able to kill Lu Yiping, let alone 100. Although Sui Qianlong was a god ancestor, he wouldn't be able to kill Lu Yiping with a million feet avatar. Sui Qianlong's expression changed. In the end, he took out a message talisman and reported to Sui Yukuan. The experts of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect did the same. After leaving Glory Foot City, Lu Yiping learned about the purple extreme demon race's nest on the Brahma Moon continent from Zimingji's memory fragments. Immediately, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao headed to the purple extreme demon race's nest. A few days later, Lu Yiping and Sui Yukuan appeared in the sky above a primitive forest. The purple extreme demon race's nest on the Brahma Moon continent was in this primitive forest. Lu Yiping covered the area with his soul, and very soon, he discovered the location of the purple extreme demon clan's lair. This lair was only a small branch of the purple extreme demon clan. There were not many people, only 300 or 400 of them. Moreover, there were no experts, and they were basically all over gods. However, to Lu Yiping's surprise, there were a lot of tree of creation in this nest. The tree of creation in his body was vibrating. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived in the sky above the purple extreme demon race's nest. The heavenly pillar appeared in Taurus Longjiao's hand, and it turned into a giant peak that slammed down. After annihilating the purple extreme demon race's experts, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at the nest's treasury. They pushed open the treasury's door and saw a mountain of tree of creation and chaos spirit stones. The number of tree of creation in this nest was no less than the number of tree of creation in the purple extreme demon race's treasury in the lower realm. This was just a small nest of the purple extreme demon race in the upper realm, yet they had collected so many tree of creation. It was obvious that there were more tree of creation in the upper realm than in the lower realm. Lu Yiping didn't hesitate. He sat down cross-legged and summoned the tree of creation. He began to merge with the tree of creation here. The tree of creation that was 210,000 meters grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, it grew to 211,000 meters. By the time the tree of creation devoured all the tree of creation here, it had grown to 232,000 meters. After reaching 232,000 meters, the tree of creation's branches extended further into the surrounding space. Its leaves were lush, and the amount of black and yellow qi increased. The grand Tao patterns on the tree of creation emitted a mesmerizing light. Lu Yiping looked at the tree of creation that had grown by another 20,000 meters. He was one step closer to 300,000 meters. Anticipation grew in his heart. When he reached 300,000 meters, all the chaos qi would transform into black and yellow qi. At that time, he would be able to cultivate the immortal heavenly wood arts and secret longevity secret art faster. Chapter 373. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao exited the primordial forest and arrived at a nearby city. The barbaric dragon sovereign's cave dwelling has appeared. Is it true? I'm afraid it's true. Many experts are heading towards the Dragon Cauldron Mountain. Even the Thousand Souls Divine Sect, Sui Family, Sun Moon Palace, and Snow Phoenix Divine Sect are heading there. After entering the city, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao could hear the various sects' disciples talking about the cave dwelling. The barbaric dragon sovereign's cave dwelling has appeared. Taurus Longjiao's eyes lit up. The ruler of the divine world, the barbaric dragon ruler, was the descendant of the primordial heavenly emperor. This was a secret that many sovereigns in the divine world did not know, but Lu Yiping and the dragon horn golden bull did. Therefore, the barbaric dragon sovereign's cave dwelling might contain some records about the primordial heavenly court or even the primordial heavenly emperor. Without further ado, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao rushed towards the Dragon Cauldron Mountain. The Dragon Cauldron Mountain was the largest mountain range in the Brahma Moon continent. When Lu Yiping and Lu Yiping arrived, Dragon Cauldron Mountain, which stretched as far as the eye could see, was filled with spaceships and people. Lu Yiping looked around and saw that some sects had brought more than 1 million people. The barbaric dragon sovereign was the ruler of the divine world, so the treasures in his cave dwelling were unimaginable. Therefore, when the barbaric dragon sovereign's cave dwelling appeared, almost all the sects had come. The Sui family's old ancestor, Sui Yukuan, is also here. There are more than 30 supreme gods from the Sui family. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect's Thousand Star Brilliance is also here. There are more than 50 supreme gods from the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. As Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao followed the crowd into the Dragon Cauldron Mountain, they overheard the discussions of many experts. Sui Yukun. Thousand Star Brilliance. Without a doubt, the two of them were the strongest in the Brahma Moon continent. Looking at the flying ships flying around him, Lu Yiping took out the Black Dragon flying ship and boarded it. As he flew deeper into the Dragon Cauldron Mountain, Lu Yiping could feel an intense tremor in the depths of the mountain. Very soon, Lu Yiping and Jian Chen saw a huge entrance in the sky above the depths of Dragon Cauldron Mountain. The violent vibrations originated from this entrance. Powerhouses from all over the world were rushing to enter the spatial entrance. Lu Yiping steered the Black Dragon flying ship towards the spatial entrance. However, just as Lu Yiping's Black Dragon flying ship was about to enter the spatial entrance, a huge flying ship suddenly appeared from behind. This huge flying ship was tens of thousands of feet long. It was even bigger than the Black Dragon flying ship. The body of the flying ship was branded with a huge golden blade. It's the Golden Blade spaceship. When the crowd saw the spaceship, they all stepped aside in shock. The Golden Knife Divine Sect was not from the Brahma Moon continent, but from the other main continent of the God realm, the ancient demon continent. The Golden Knife Divine Sect was the #1 sect on the ancient demon continent. Its status on the ancient demon continent was equivalent to the Thousand Spirits Divine Sect on the Brahma Moon continent. The continents controlled by the Golden Knife Divine Sect were connected to the continents controlled by the Thousand Spirits Divine Sect. Standing at the front of the Golden Knife flying ship was a young man clad in golden robes. Behind him were a group of Golden Knife Divine Sect's experts. It's the Golden Knife Divine Sect's young lord, Jin Guangliye. Jin Guangliye has 4 avatars, and each avatar is over 3,000 feet long. He once killed the Greenwood Divine Emperor who had 5 avatars with a single punch. Seeing Jin Guangliye at the front of the flying ship, one of the family's ancestors exclaimed in shock. The Golden Knife flying ship tore through space and arrived at the spatial entrance in the blink of an eye. Some of the flying ships that were unable to dodge in time were sent flying. Some of the experts flying alone were smashed into a bloody mist. Jin Guangliye stood at the front of the flying ship with an indifferent expression. The Golden Knife flying ship's momentum did not decrease as it charged towards Lu Yiping's Black Dragon flying ship. The Black Dragon flying ship was 1,000 feet long, while the Golden Knife flying ship was 10,000 feet long. Just as everyone thought that the Golden Knife flying ship was about to collide with the Black Dragon flying ship, the Black Dragon flying ship suddenly emitted a bright light. The Black Dragon flying ship flew out and coiled around the Golden Knife flying ship. A dragon's roar reverberated through heaven and earth. The moment the Golden Knife flying ship collided with the Black Dragon flying ship, Golden Knife God Zhongzhong and the others felt a violent tremor. It was as if the world was spinning. The Golden Knife flying ship that had pierced through space with an unstoppable momentum was sent flying back. The terrifying vibrations caused the Golden Knife God Zhongzhong and the others to shudder. Some of the weaker disciples even vomited blood and were sent flying out of the Golden Knife flying ship. Screams filled the air. Shockwaves swirled in the surrounding space. Whether it was the experts from the Brahma Moon continent or the other continents, all of them were dumbfounded. Although this Golden Knife flying ship was not the Golden Knife Divine Sect's strongest flying ship, it was still a mid-grade innate supreme treasure. Taurus Longjiao looked at the Golden Knife flying ship that was sent flying and snorted coldly. He suddenly punched out, and a terrifying fist wave blasted through the layers of shockwaves on the Dragon Cauldron Mountain, directly hitting the Golden Knife flying ship that was still spinning. The Golden Knife flying ship that was still spinning was sent flying again, like a broken leaf, crashing into a mountain peak in the distance. The mountain peak collapsed. Inside the flying ship, the experts of the Golden Knife Divine Sect were sent flying out of the flying ship, crashing into the surrounding mountain peaks. Jin Guangliye himself was buried inside a mountain peak, buried under the rubble. No one knew if he was dead or alive. Everyone felt their hearts twitch. Other than the sound of the mountain peak collapsing in the distance, there was no other sound. Lu Yiping's expression was indifferent as he drove the black dragon flying ship and entered the space with Taurus Longjiao, disappearing from everyone's sight. However, for a long time, no one dared to enter the space. Long after Lu Yiping and Jin Guanglie entered the space, the Golden Knife Divine Sex experts who were smashed into the surrounding mountain peaks crawled out from the rubble. Ignoring their injuries, they blasted away the rubble that buried Jin Guanglie and finally found him under layers of rubble. Jin Guanglie was lying under layers of rubble, his body was a bloody mess, and he was no longer breathing. Taurus Longjiao's punch was mainly aimed at Jin Guanglie. Jin Guanglie did not escape the destructive force of that punch. Not only was his main body's vitality completely destroyed, even his 4 avatars were completely destroyed. It could be said that all of them were dead. Young Lord. The Golden Knife Divine Sex experts stared at Jin Guanglie's dead body in disbelief. They were dumbfounded, and their cries of agony shook the surroundings. The surrounding experts were also dumbfounded looking at Jin Guanglie's dead body. Jin Guanglie was dead? Who was that blue-robed young man and the Golden Retriever's brawny man? Someone asked in surprise. Everyone came back to their senses. That looks like Lu Yiping. Suddenly, a voice sounded from the crowd. In an instant, a commotion broke out. The Lu Yiping who killed Sui Tai. That's him, I've seen him at Red Moon City's True Dragon Chamber of Commerce, but Sui Tai was killed by his subordinate, the Golden Retriever's brawny man. Rongzhou City's Lu Yiping has a million Zhang avatar, is this true? The Golden Knife Divine Sex experts were stunned listening to the commotion around them, and the killing intent on their faces lessened. Although they had not been in the Brahma Moon continent for long, they had heard of Lu Yiping's name. Chapter 374. I didn't expect Lu Yiping to come to the Dragon Cauldron Mountain. Lu Yiping killed Sui Tai and Yu Yan. Now, the Sui family, Thousand Souls Divine Sect, and Snow Phoenix Divine Sect are all looking for him. Unbeknownst to Lu Yiping, after entering the space with Taurus Longjiao, the Fortune Jade disc in his body suddenly vibrated. Lu Yiping was stunned for a moment, then he was overjoyed. There was a Fortune Jade disc in the barbaric dragon sovereign's cave dwelling? This was a pleasant surprise. Without further ado, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao flew towards the direction of the Fortune Jade disc. Soon, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at a towering mountain peak. When they reached the peak, they landed in front of a group of palaces. When Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao landed in front of the palaces, there were already many experts from various families present. After passing through the palaces, they arrived in front of a dragon palace. The dragon palace was majestic, and the stone pillars in front of the dragon palace were engraved with all kinds of divine dragons. The divine dragons were lifelike, and they exuded the might of dragons. However, there were dozens of experts standing guard in front of the dragon palace. Judging from their attire, they were from the Taihong Divine Sect. Although the Taihong Divine Sect wasn't as strong as the Thousand Souls Divine Sect, they were still a hegemon in the Brahma Moon continent. They weren't any weaker than the Sun Moon Palace, Snow Phoenix Divine Sect, or Sui family. Just as Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were about to enter the Dragon Palace, the Taihong Divine Sect's experts standing guard stopped them. My Taihong Divine Sect was the first to discover this palace. Please go somewhere else. One of the Taihong Divine Sect's experts said indifferently. It was clear that the Taihong Divine Sect wanted to monopolize this place. Your Taihong Divine Sect was the first to discover this place. Taurus Longjiao sneered. According to what you said, if I was the first to discover the divine world, does that mean it's mine now? The Taihong Divine Sect's experts were stunned. If the two of you don't want to die, I'd advise you to scram as far as you can right now. The face of the Taihong Divine Sect's expert darkened. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Taurus Longjiao waved his hand and sent him flying. The cultivator from the Taihong Celestial Sect smashed through the gate of the Dragon Palace. The gate of the Dragon Palace was broken into countless pieces. The experts of the Tai Hung divine sect who were guarding the entrance were stunned. "You're courting death." The experts of the Tai Flood Celestial sect glared at Taurus Longjiao with murderous intent in their eyes. Most of the experts from the Tai Hung Celestial sect were god emperors. Only a few of them were overgods. More than 30 god emperors and 4 master gods of 10 elemental laws or above attacked at the same time. Space howled as all kinds of origin energies covered the sky and earth. Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly. Light surged behind him, and 26 figures appeared. Each of the 26 figures was over 10,000 zhang tall, emitting a tremendous godly aura. Lightning flashed across the heavens and earth, and the cries of millions of heavenly dragons formed a sea of dragons. 26 avatars. The experts of the Tai Hung Celestial sect were shocked and they saw the 26 avatars behind Taurus Longjiao. The 26 avatars behind Taurus Longjiao attacked at the same time. Space buzzed. 26 terrifying waves of light blasted out. The waves of light blasted the experts of the Tai Hung Celestial sect away at a frightening speed. Then, without stopping, the waves of light blasted through the gate of the Dragon Palace and into the deepest part of the Dragon Palace. Rumbling sounds continued to echo in the air. Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang entered the Dragon Palace in a flash and headed deeper into the Dragon Palace. Finally, they arrived at a great hall in the deepest part of the Dragon Palace. The great hall was as big as a small city. There were 49 stone pillars erected in the hall. Ancient runes were written all over the stone pillars. At the same time, a divine artifact was sealed on each pillar. There were axes, sabers, spears, swords, halberds, hammers, armors, and gloves. There were 18 kinds of divine artifacts. When Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang arrived, they saw the experts of the Tai Hung Celestial sect attacking the seals on the stone pillars. It was obvious that they were trying to break the seals and retrieve the divine artifacts. The experts of the Tai Hung Celestial sect who were trying to retrieve the divine artifacts saw Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang rushing in. Their faces darkened. One of them stopped and took a step forward, arriving in front of Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang. Without saying a word, he punched out. When he punched out, a world appeared behind him. This world was 10,000 miles wide. There were mountains, rivers, trees, and all kinds of divine beasts and god tribes. Shocking energy surged out from this world and merged with the fist force. Then, it blasted towards Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang. This world was the god domain of a god ancestor expert. When a god emperor broke through to the god ancestor realm, they would be able to open up a domain that belonged to them. Furthermore, they would be able to merge the energy of the domain with them to attack their opponents. The energy of a god domain far surpassed the origin energy of the 13 types of laws. Similarly, it was far stronger than a god emperor's god force. The bigger the god domain, the stronger the energy of the domain. Furthermore, once the god domain was opened, it could suppress the opponent's strength within a certain range. The stronger the god domain, the stronger the suppression. Seeing the Tai Hung Celestial Sect's expert unleashing the power of a god domain, Lu Yiping remained calm. He didn't activate Tian Ming, his avatar, or his god domain. Instead, he pointed a finger forward. When Lu Yiping pointed his finger forward, 2 rays of light, one black and one red, appeared. The 2 rays of light transformed into a world of darkness and a world of light. Boundless energy of darkness and light roared out. When the energy of darkness and light surged out, heaven and earth shook. The Dragon Palace shook, and all the buildings outside the Dragon Palace shook. In the end, the entire mountain peak shook. Even the ground around the mountain peak started to crack. Radiant Dala Finger. The god ancestor from the Tai Hung Celestial Sect saw Lu Yiping's finger and thought of a supreme art. He couldn't help but turn pale. The Radiant Dala Finger was the supreme art of the barbaric dragon sovereign, the ruler of the divine world. The other experts from the Tai Hung celestial sect who were attacking the stone pillars also turned around in shock. Then, they saw Lu Yiping's finger force pierce through the god ancestor's fist force. Then, it went through the god ancestor's body and finally broke through the god's domain behind him. A huge hole was blasted open in the domain of divinity. From the hole, dense cracks spread out and quickly covered the entire domain of divinity. The god's domain was like a fragile piece of glass. With a crack, it shattered into countless pieces. As the godly domain collapsed, the godly ancestor was devoured by the power of light and darkness. His body started to dissipate. A single finger had killed a god ancestor. The several hundred experts from the Tai Hung celestial sect froze in shock. The hall fell into silence. A moment later, one of the experts from the Tai Hung celestial sect walked out. His aura surged out like a wave, and the energy contained in the wave surpassed the god ancestor's god force. He was a paramount god. However, to Qin Tianming's astonishment, Lu Yiping and the dragon horn golden bull stood there under the bombardment of his supreme will. Their expressions were normal, and they were completely fine. Qin Tianming's face darkened as he pushed his will of a paramount god. The power of his will of a paramount god rose again. Shocking wrinkles appeared in space, like the strings of a zither that was stretched to the limit and could snap at any time. However, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were still standing there calmly. Qin Tianming was dumbfounded. Lu Yiping looked at the dumbfounded Qin Tianming. Your will of a paramount god isn't even at the destabilizing level. It's too low, too weak. Paramount god wills were divided into strong and weak. From low to high, they were divided into ordinary, super, and above super were the destabilizing, terrifying, vast, and invincible levels. Qin Tianming's will of a paramount god was only at the super level. It wasn't even at the destabilizing level. Suddenly, a strand of will of a paramount god erupted from Lu Yiping's body. When this strand of will of a paramount god appeared, Zhoutian was shaken. The entire space of the barbarian dragon cave trembled violently. At this moment, all the experts who entered the cave could feel the terrifying will of a paramount god. In a certain corner of the cave, Sui family's Sui Yukuan and the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's Thousand Star Brilliance turned to look in the direction of the Dragon Palace. The Sui family's patriarch, Sui Kuewen, exclaimed, could it be an invincible level will? An invincible level will was the strongest will of a paramount god. It was said to be invincible under the sovereign realm, capable of destroying all souls. Sui Yukuan spoke, it's not invincible level. It's not. Sui Kuewen stuttered, old ancestor, you mean? Sovereign. Sui Yukuan repeated slowly. Sovereign. The Sui family's experts were shocked. For a moment, none of the Sui family's experts dared to speak. At this time, in the main hall of the Dragon Palace, Qin Tianming and the several hundred experts of the Tai Flood Divine Sect felt their bodies sink as they were forced to their knees by a terrifying force. They stared at Lu Yiping in shock. You, a sovereign? Qin Tianming's voice trembled. A sovereign was the strongest existence in the divine world. Every time a new sovereign was born, it would shake the divine world's continents. Sovereign? Taurus Longjiao snorted, even the barbaric dragon sovereign is nothing in front of my master. The ruler of the divine world, the barbaric dragon sovereign, was nothing in front of Huang Xiaolong. Qin Tianming and the experts of the Tai Flood Divine Sect stared at Lu Yiping in disbelief. The ruler of the divine world, the barbaric dragon sovereign, was a peak late-stage sovereign, the strongest in the divine world. How could he be nothing in front of this blue-robed young man? Who are you? Qin Tianming's mouth went dry. At this time, the cauldron of heaven and earth appeared in Lu Yiping's hand. The cauldron of heaven and earth shone brightly above Lu Yiping's palm. Qin Tianming's eyes widened when he saw the cauldron of heaven and earth. Cauldron of heaven and earth? You're the saint of heaven and earth. You're the master of the bewildering heaven sovereign. The bewildering heaven sovereign was the founder of the bewildering heaven sect. In the lower realm, Lu Yiping had many titles, such as the Master of Saint Devil, the Ancestor of Lightning Punishment, the Supreme of the Ancient Era, and the God of the Epoch. In the upper realm, Lu Yiping also had many titles, one of which was the Saint of Heaven and Earth. All of a sudden, the cauldron of heaven and earth flew into the air, turning into a giant cauldron that supported the heavens. Chen Tianming fell to his knees and kowtowed respectfully. This lowly one has eyes but failed to see. Please forgive this lowly one for offending your excellency. His eyes were filled with fear. On top of that, he also had a 1,000,000-feet avatar. This news had already spread throughout the Brahma Moon continent. Therefore, experts from various forces wanted to see with their own eyes if Lu Yiping really had 49 totems, and if the totems were really that big. Or if it was really a 1,000,000-feet avatar. At the same time, there were also people guessing if Lu Yiping's Heaven's Mandate was the same as his golden-haired subordinate, a peak level 13 Chaos Heaven's Mandate. There were even people guessing if Lu Yiping was a God Ancestor expert. If Lu Yiping was a God Ancestor expert, then how big was Lu Yiping's God domain? Was it 100,000 miles wide? Or was it the same as the barbarian dragon sovereign's God domain? However, even if Lu Yiping is a God Ancestor with a 1,000,000 miles wide God domain, he won't be able to escape from the barbarian dragon cave. The Sun Moon Palace Master shook his head. This was because the one besieging Lu Yiping this time was Sui Yukuan. It was the 1,000-star brilliance. 2 sovereigns. The 1,000-star brilliance was a peak early-stage sovereign expert who had cultivated for 50 million years. Peak early-stage sovereigns like the 1,000-star brilliance were famous in the divine world for tens of millions of years. Even in other mainlands, the mere mention of the 1,000-star brilliance's name was enough to make people pale. Not to mention a God Ancestor, even if Lu Yiping is a paramount god, even if he has an invincible will, he won't be able to escape death. The Sun Moon Palace Master shook his head. An invincible will paramount god was said to be invincible below sovereigns. However, that was only true for paramount gods, god ancestors, god emperors, and master gods. Even an invincible will paramount god was fragile in front of a sovereign. If a sovereign wanted to kill a paramount god, it would be as easy as blowing away dust. The Rome family also received the news, and the Rome family's patriarch rushed over with their experts. Just as Sui Yukuan, the 1,000-star brilliance, the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect, and the Golden Blade Divine Sect's experts rushed over, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao also received the news that Sui Yukuan, the 1,000-star brilliance, the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect, and the Golden Blade Divine Sect were rushing over. With such a big commotion, it was impossible for the two of them not to know. 2 sovereigns. 2 decent ones have finally arrived. Taurus Longjiao laughed when he heard Huang Xiaolong's words. A bloodthirsty light flickered in his eyes as he said, "Master, leave Sui Yukuan and the 1,000-star brilliance to me. I haven't warmed up in many years." Ever since he had secluded himself in the lower world's holy forest, he hadn't warmed up in the past 1,000,000 years. Lu Yiping smiled and nodded. He didn't mind Taurus Longjiao's words. He activated the Eye of Punishment and continued searching for the formation core. The barbarian dragon's cultivation dwelling was huge. With the barbarian dragon sovereign's methods, the formation core was hidden well. Even a late-stage sovereign realm expert would have a hard time finding it. Of course, this wasn't a problem for Lu Yiping. After searching for a while, Lu Yiping finally arrived at a large mountain. The formation core was inside this mountain. There were countless mountains inside the cultivation dwelling. The mountain in front of Huang Xiaolong was inconspicuous, but the Eye of Punishment could see through the surface of the mountain. There was a huge space inside the mountain. Inside this space, runes danced in the air, forming divine dragons. This was the Barbarian Dragon Sovereign's strongest Barbarian Dragon Divine Formation. It was also one of the strongest divine formations in the divine world since ancient times. As long as Huang Xiaolong refined this Barbarian Dragon Divine Formation, he would be able to gain control of the Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling. Just as Lu Yiping was about to enter the formation's space, a boundless divine might rushed towards them like a torrential sea. A figure sped across the horizon at shocking speed. It was none other than the Sui family's Sui Yukuan. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao stopped in their tracks. When Sui Yukuan arrived, a sky full of stars appeared in another direction. It was as if heaven and earth had fallen into a boundless starry night. Under the dazzling starry sky, a figure appeared in the sky. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect's Thousand Star Brilliance. Chapter 377. When Sui Yukuan arrived, there was a faint shadow of a primordial divine beast behind him. This primordial divine beast was shaped like a qilin, exuding overwhelming pressure. Nian Beast. Taurus Longjiao said, looking at the shadow of the primordial divine beast behind Sui Yukuan. Nian beasts were comparable to qilins and true dragons among the myriad of beasts. However, Nian beasts were even rarer than qilins and true dragons. From the primordial era until now, Nian beasts had appeared less than 10 times in the divine world. Unlike the dragon race, although rare, one could still run into a few occasionally. This Sui Yukuan clearly had the Nian beast's bloodline. Compared to Sui Yukuan, Thousand Star Brilliance's aura was stronger. Stars floated around him, and there were faint images of astrological gods. These astrological gods were extremely powerful, no more, no less. There were a total of 108 of them. In the blink of an eye, Sui Yukuan and Thousand Star Brilliance arrived in front of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Seeing Thousand Star Brilliance, Sui Yukuan cupped his fists and greeted, "Brother Star Brilliance." Thousand Star Brilliance glanced at the shadow of the primordial divine beast behind Sui Yukuan and smiled, "Brother Yukuan's Nian beast bloodline has reached ancestral awakening?" Sui Yukuan smiled, "A few years ago, I found some heaven-splitting treasures, and with the help of these heaven-splitting treasures, I was lucky enough to reach ancestral awakening." "Congratulations, congratulations." Thousand Star Brilliance laughed, "Brother Yukuan's Nian beast bloodline has reached ancestral awakening, greatly increasing your battle power. I'm afraid I'm not Brother Yukuan's opponent." Sui Yukuan waved his hand and laughed, "My little bit of strength can't even be compared to Brother Star Brilliance." The two of them chatted merrily, treating Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao as heir. Perhaps, in their minds, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were turtles in a jar, and killing them was only a matter of time. There was no rush. While Sui Yukuan and Thousand Star Brilliance were chatting merrily, another large group of experts flew over from afar. This group was the Snow Phoenix Divine Sex experts, 3,000 to 4,000 people. Soon after, the Golden Blade Divine Sex Sect Chief led the Golden Blade Divine Sex experts over. This time, the Golden Blade Divine Sect did not send many people, only about 700 of them. Following the arrival of the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect and the Golden Saber Divine Sect, the Sun Moon Palace, the Rome family, the Brahma Moon Continent, the Ancient Devil Continent, and the other major continents experts also hurried over. "Greetings, Lord Sui, Lord Qian." The Sect Master of the Snow Phoenix Sect, the Sect Master of the Golden Saber Sect, the Sun Moon Imperial Hall, the Patriarch of the Rong clan, and other experts were startled when they saw Yukuan and the Thousand Star Brilliance. They hurried forward and bowed respectfully. In the face of Sui Yukuan and the Thousand Star Brilliance, the Snow Phoenix Sect Master and the other paramount gods didn't dare to act rashly. Thousand Star Brilliance looked at the Snow Phoenix Sect Chief, Golden Saber Sect Chief, and the others, nodding, "You're all here." He then turned to Golden Saber Sect Chief, "How is your ancestor?" "The last time I sparred with Brother Boyi, 1,000,000 years passed in the blink of an eye." The Golden Saber Sect Master quickly replied, "Grandfather is doing well." He often misses Lord Qian and says that if there is a chance, he would like to find Lord Qian to spar and discuss the Tao. Thousand Star Brilliance laughed. After this trip to the Barbarian Dragon Cavern, I'll make a trip to the ancient Devil Continent. The Golden Saber Sect Master was delighted. The Golden Saber Sect awaits Lord Qian's arrival. Go to the ancient Devil Continent? Taurus Longjiao stroked his golden hair. Do you think you'll be able to leave the Barbarian Dragon Cavern? Taurus Longjiao's words stunned everyone. Everyone turned to look at Taurus Longjiao. Sui Yukuan and Thousand Star Brilliance also turned to look at Taurus Longjiao. I can't leave the Barbarian Dragon Cavern. Thousand Star Brilliance laughed. You talk big. From the sound of it, you intend to keep me here? Taurus Longjiao took a step forward and said, the two of you can attack together. Everyone was surprised. Sui Yukuan's face sank. Why do the two of us need to kill you and your servant? I'll give you a chance to attack. His aura rose sharply. However, just as his aura rose, a figure flickered and appeared in front of Sui Yukuan. Sui Yukuan was shocked. Before he could react, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. It was as if he was hit by a terrifying hammer, and he was sent flying. Sui Yukuan's speed was too fast. When he was sent flying, he tore through space, creating shockwaves like a hurricane. Rumble. Sui Yukuan smashed through a mountain peak in the distance. Then, he continued to smash through mountain peak after mountain peak. After smashing through countless mountain peaks, Sui Yukuan finally came to a stop. Dust and sand billowed in the sky. Thunderous booms resounded in the air. Thousand Star Brilliance was stunned. The Snow Phoenix Sect Master, Golden Saber Sect Master, and the other experts were dumbfounded. They looked at Taurus Longjiao in shock. The one who attacked was none other than Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao sent Sui Yukuan flying with a punch. His expression was calm as he said, early sovereign realm, nothing more than this. Although Sui Yukuan was a sovereign realm expert, it had only been several million years since he broke through to sovereign realm. Thousand Star Brilliance looked at Taurus Longjiao with a solemn expression. His body was tense, and it was obvious that he was very nervous. Taurus Longjiao looked at the tense Thousand Star Brilliance, and he slowly walked over. Make your move. Thousand Star Brilliance took a deep breath and circulated his god force. The starlight around him grew brighter and brighter as the 108 gods of astrology condensed and grew larger. In the end, each of the 108 gods of astrology was close to 10,000 zhang tall. Thousand Star Brilliance punched out. Following his punch, the 108 astral gods punched out at the same time. Waves of starlight surged out, shattering heaven and earth, as if they wanted to drown the entire barbarian dragon manor. The sky was shaking. The earth was crumbling. The surrounding mountain peaks crumbled, turning into dust. At the same time, shocking wills covered the sky, attacking Taurus Longjiao from all directions. A sovereign realm expert's will was undoubtedly more terrifying than a paramount god's will. Looking at the surging waves of starlight, Taurus Longjiao casually punched out, and millions of divine dragons flew out. These divine dragons formed a strange dragon formation. World Dragon Formation Fist. Thousand Star Brilliance's expression changed when he saw Taurus Longjiao's punch. Who are you to the Lord of the Dragon World? Among the myriad of worlds, the Immortal World, Divine World, Dragon World, Devil World, Monster World, Devil World, and Ghost World were the strongest. The Lord of the Dragon World's status was comparable to the barbarian dragon sovereign of the Divine World. This World Dragon Formation Fist was one of the Lord of the Dragon World's secret techniques. Thousand Star Brilliance's exclamation shocked the Golden Saber Sect Master, Snow Phoenix Sect Master, Sun Moon Palace Master, and the other experts. What, this is the Lord of the Dragon World's World Dragon Formation Fist? Could this Golden Retriever be the successor of the Lord of the Dragon World? The Golden Saber Sect Master and Snow Phoenix Sect Master were even more shocked. The Lord of the Dragon World was the ruler of an entire world. Even if the Golden Saber sect and Snow Phoenix sect also had sovereigns, in front of an existence like the Lord of the Dragon World, they were nothing more than ants. Amidst everyone's shock, the World Dragon Formation Fist instantly pierced through Thousand Star Brilliance's starlight waves and sent him flying with lightning speed. Even if Thousand Star Brilliance managed to open the Star God World in the end, it was useless. As for Thousand Star Brilliance's Sovereign Realm Will, when it slammed into Taurus Longjiao's Soul Sea, it didn't even cause the slightest ripple in Taurus Longjiao's Soul Sea. Chapter 378. Taurus Longjiao sent the Thousand Star Brilliance flying with a World Dragon Formation Fist. In a single step, he appeared above the Thousand Star Brilliance. Just as Taurus Longjiao was about to punch the Thousand Star Brilliance into the ground, the rocks in the distance exploded, and a figure rushed out, arriving behind Taurus Longjiao in the blink of an eye. An astonishing fist force was aimed at Taurus Longjiao's back. Taurus Longjiao did not retaliate. Light surged from his body, and dragon scales appeared in the space around him. These dragon scales were tightly linked together, becoming one with the surrounding space, forming a dragon barrier. The astonishing power of the fist slammed into the dragon scale barrier, and with a loud bang, the dragon scale barrier did not budge, and the person who had attacked was sent tumbling back. The attacker was Sueyu Kun. Sueyu Kun was sent flying. Looking at the dragon scale barrier, he exclaimed, "Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier. Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier." Golden Saber Sect Chief, Snow Phoenix Sect Chief, Sun Moon Palace Master, and other experts were shocked. The Ancestral Dragon was the ancestor of all dragons in the myriad of worlds. He was also the master of the Dragon World's Lord. The Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier was the Ancestral Dragon's supreme defensive technique. It was said that even the Dragon World's Lord was unable to learn the Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier. However, Lu Yiping's subordinate knew the Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier. Taurus Longjiao took Sueyu Kun's punch and turned around. Sueyu Kun's expression changed. The Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier was the Dragon Clan's strongest defensive technique. Forget him, even if 100 of him joined hands, they wouldn't be able to break this barrier. Sueyu Kun looked at Taurus Longjiao with regret in his heart. Not only did this golden retriever know the World Dragon Formation Fist, but he also knew the Ancestral Dragon's immovable barrier. He must be related to the Dragon World's Lord. Although Sui Tai was the Sui family's most monstrous genius, it wasn't worth offending the Dragon World's Lord for him. More importantly, this golden retriever's strength was terrifying. Also, Lu Yiping was the owner of the golden retriever. What was his identity? At this time, Thousand Star Brilliance also broke through the air from under the rubble. The battered Thousand Star Brilliance looked at Taurus Longjiao with shock, fear, and suspicion. Clearly, like Sueyu Kun, he was trying to guess the identities of Taurus Longjiao and Lu Yiping. Taurus Longjiao looked at Sueyu Kun and the Thousand Star Dazzle, stroking the meticulous golden retriever. The golden retriever shone brighter and brighter. Attack together. It's been a long time since someone played with me. Everyone choked. Let the two sovereigns play with him. Could it be that this golden retriever guy was just playing around? Yukun and Thousand Star Brilliance's expressions turned ugly. Thousand Star Brilliance hesitated for a moment, then cupped his fists and asked, "May I know your name? What is your relationship with the Lord of the Dragon World?" However, just as his words fell, Taurus Longjiao raised his hand to the sky. Above the blue dome of heaven, endless divine lightning poured down, bombarding Thousand Star Brilliance. Looking at the endless divine lightning pouring down on him, Thousand Star Brilliance thought of a secret art comparable to the World Dragon Formation Fist. The Lord of the Lightning World, lightning shaking the 9 worlds. The Lightning World was one of the strongest worlds among the myriad of worlds. The Lord of the Lightning World had a status comparable to the Lord of the Dragon World. Thousand Star Brilliance's face was filled with fear as he frantically tried to escape. However, the endless divine lightning completely covered the space around him, leaving him nowhere to run. Following a loud rumble, thousand-star brilliance was once again smashed into the ground by the endless divine lightning. The endless divine lightning continued to bombard the ground even after thousand-star brilliance was smashed into the ground. Dust billowed from the ground, and rocks were sent flying for miles. Everyone was stunned. Looking at Taurus Longjiao, the fear in Sui Yukuan's heart grew stronger. What was the identity of this golden retriever? First, he knew the Lord of the Dragon World's World Dragon Formation Fist, then the Ancestral Dragon's Immovable Barrier, and now the Lord of the Lightning World's Lightning shaking the 9 worlds. Could it be that he had a close relationship with the Lord of the Lightning World? Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly saw endless divine lightning falling from the blue dome of heaven. Just as Sui Yukuan reacted, he was smashed into the ground by the endless divine lightning, just like thousand-star brilliance. Divine thunder rolled, and the sound of thunder continued for a long time. The ground trembled, collapsing piece by piece. The power of lightning swept across, causing everyone to flee in horror. Fleeing far away, the experts of Golden Saber Divine Sect, Snow Phoenix Divine Sect, Sun Moon Palace, and Rong family trembled as they looked at the endless divine lightning. Especially the experts from Golden Saber Divine Sect and Snow Phoenix Divine Sect Zhongzhong who had planned to kill Lu Yiping and Thousand Star Brilliance. Their faces were drained of blood. They wanted to run, but their feet were pressed down by mountains, making it hard for them to move. Looking at Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan who were smashed into the ground by the violent lightning, an expert stammered, "Lord Thousand Star Brilliance and Lord Sui, they wouldn't be dead, right?" This was because they couldn't sense Thousand Star Brilliance and Lord Sui Yukuan's aura under the violent lightning energy. Taurus Longjiao's hands reached out, pulling Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan out from the ground. Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan's faces were beyond recognition. They looked like 2 charred bodies, charred black, and their pores were spewing out lightning. The golden bull with dragon horn looked at the 2 of them and punched them again, sending them flying. Then, it pulled them back and punched them again, sending them flying again. Then, it pulled them back and punched them again. Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan were being used as practice targets by Taurus Longjiao. Golden Saber Divine Sect Master, Snow Phoenix Sect Master, and the rest of the experts' minds went blank. They were speechless. After more than a dozen times, Lu Yiping finally spoke, "Enough, stop playing around. There are more important matters, kill them." "Yes, Master." Taurus Longjiao finally stopped and answered. Earlier, no one thought much of it, but now, hearing Taurus Longjiao calling Lu Yiping "Master," everyone's hearts were shaken. Anyone could tell that Taurus Longjiao was a late-stage sovereign, or even a peak late-stage sovereign, yet he still called Lu Yiping "Master." What was Lu Yiping's strength? Taurus Longjiao's god force circulated in his body. Streaks of lightning shot out from his eyes as he punched Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan's bodies. Bang! 2 loud explosions sounded at almost the same time. Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan's bodies exploded with lightning, and they were sent flying all the way to the horizon. However, Taurus Longjiao smiled wryly and said to Lu Yiping, "Master, it's better if you do it." Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan were lying on the horizon, barely breathing. They were still alive. Although he was a peak late-stage sovereign and could kill Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan, it would take him a lot of effort. Therefore, if he wanted to kill Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan in one strike, Lu Yiping would be the one to do it. Lu Yiping took a step forward, arriving in front of Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan. Light flickered above his head, and layers of auspicious clouds bloomed. "This is an auspicious cloud. Sage, he's a Tao-confirming sage." Seeing the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head, Sect Master Golden Saber turned pale with fright. Chapter 379. Not only Sect Master Golden Saber, but the Snow Phoenix Sect Master, Sun Moon Palace Master, and Rong family's patriarch also paled when they saw the cloud above Lu Yiping's head. Plop! The Snow Phoenix Sect Master, Sun Moon Palace Master, and Rong family's patriarch all knelt down. Tens of thousands of experts knelt down, causing the ground to shake. Even when they saw Taurus Longjiao's terrifying strength, they didn't kneel. But now, they all knelt down, forming a dark mass. Thousand Star Brilliance and Yukuan, who were lying on the ground on the verge of death, struggled to open their eyes when they heard the crowd's exclamations. When they saw the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head through the gaps in their eyes, they were shocked. A saint! So he's a saint. Thousand Star Brilliance muttered to himself. Suddenly, all the resentment and unwillingness in his heart vanished. Instead, a serene smile appeared on his face. This was the smile of an honor to be able to die in the hands of a saint. With the cloud above Lu Yiping's head, the cauldron of heaven and earth appeared in his hand. Cauldron of heaven and earth, you're the saint of heaven and earth from the exalted immortal world. Thousand Star Brilliance hissed when he saw the cauldron in Lu Yiping's hand. Lu Yiping's expression didn't change when he heard this. In the ancient times, he and Taurus Longjiao had roamed the myriad worlds. Many experts thought that he was from the exalted immortal world. Lu Yiping slammed the cauldron of heaven and earth in his hand. The cauldron carried layers of Saint Qi as it slammed into Thousand Star Brilliance and Sui Yukuan. Dong! The barbarian dragon cave trembled. All the experts who were searching for treasures in the cave felt the terrifying power of this attack. They all looked in Lu Yiping's direction with fear. The group of Sui family's experts who were happily collecting the treasures stopped as well, looking at Lu Yiping with fear in their eyes. It's from the southeast. Lord Patriarch, do you think it's the old ancestor and the others? One of the Sui family's old ancestors stuttered. Sui Kuiwen said, don't worry, the old ancestor has been in the sovereign realm for millions of years. His sovereign realm has long since stabilized. Nothing will happen to the old ancestor. Just now, the old ancestor and Lord Thousand Star Glory should have joined forces to kill Lu Yiping and his servant. The experts of the Sui family nodded. Right at this moment, Sui Kuiwen's communication talisman vibrated. Feeling strange, Sui Kuiwen took it out to take a look. When he saw the contents of the communication talisman, Sui Kuiwen's face paled. Shock, astonishment, grief, and even despair filled his face. Ancestor! Sui Kuiwen shouted and suddenly knelt down, crying bitterly. The dignified clan lord of the Sui clan, a paramount god with near invincible will, burst into tears. The Sui clan is finished. Sui Kuiwen screamed hoarsely as if he were possessed. The experts of the Sui family were stunned. They were at a loss for what to do when their patriarch suddenly knelt down. At the same time, they felt a burst of panic in their hearts. Is the Sui family finished? What did he mean? Could it be? The old ancestor of the Sui family couldn't help but ask Sui Kuiwen nervously, Lord Patriarch, the old ancestor, who is he? Sui Kuiwen didn't answer. The old ancestor picked up the communication talisman from the ground and looked at it. His body stiffened. A Tao-confirming saint. The heaven and earth saint of the great Luo immortal world. His eyes were filled with fear as he slumped to the ground. At the scene, the cauldron of heaven and earth struck Thousand Star Glory and Sui Yukuan. The two were directly blasted into the ground, and the ground around them caved in. It was as if a deep abyss had appeared out of nowhere. Earth chi spewed out, and dust flew and rolled down. The cauldron of heaven and earth flew back to Lu Yiping's hand. Lu Yiping didn't look at Thousand Star Glory and Sui Yukuan. Instead, he looked at the experts of the Golden Saber Divine Sect and the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect. The experts of the Golden Saber Divine Sect and the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect were kneeling on the ground with fear on their faces. There was no need for Lu Yiping to make a move. Taurus Longjiao's sky pillar swept across them, and the experts of the Golden Saber Divine Sect and the Snow Phoenix Divine Sect disappeared without a trace. Lu Yiping looked at the Sun Moon Palace Master, Rome family's patriarch, and the others who had come to watch the show. The Sun Moon Palace Master and Rome family's patriarch lowered their heads, trembling. Retrieving the cauldron of heaven and earth, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao turned around and passed through the mountain peak, entering the space inside the barbarian dragon formation. After a long time, the Sun Moon Palace Master, Rome family's patriarch, and the others finally dared to raise their heads when they saw that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao had already left. Only then did they dare to breathe a sigh of relief. A gust of cold wind blew over, and they felt cold. A short while later, after confirming that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were no longer around, the group left in fear and trepidation. When they left, no one dared to make the slightest noise. When Lu Yiping arrived at the space inside the barbarian dragon formation, he was immediately attacked by the divine dragons formed by the formation's runes. These divine dragons surged over like a tidal wave. Their attacks were so strong that even sovereign realm experts like Yu Kuan and the Thousand-Star Brilliance couldn't withstand them. However, Lu Yiping only needed to casually point his finger, and these divine dragons were repelled. Lu Yiping opened his palm and froze these divine dragons in place. With a flick of his finger, runes filled the sky and entered these divine dragons' bodies. It didn't take long for these divine dragons to become obedient, and they swam happily around Lu Yiping. After Lu Yiping took control of the barbarian dragon formation, his divine sense seeped into the formation's eye. Every corner of the cultivation dwelling was clearly imprinted in his mind. Without further ado, Lu Yiping activated the barbarian dragon formation. In the blink of an eye, the barbarian dragon cave's space lit up, flooding every corner like a tidal wave. Wherever the light passed, all the treasure-seeking experts in the cavern were sent flying out of the cavern space. After the experts from the Brahma Moon continent, Ancient Devil continent, and other continents were sent out of the barbarian dragon cave, Lu Yiping closed the entrance to the cultivation dwelling, then sat down cross-legged and began refining the 8th piece of the fortune jade disc. Many of the experts who were sent out of the cultivation dwelling were puzzled. What happened? How did we get out? A commotion broke out. A formation expert muttered, "Someone found the cultivation dwelling's formation eye and has already refined it." Everyone was sent out of the cultivation dwelling. "I heard that Lord Thousand-Star Brilliance and Lord Suikuewan are dead," someone said in a low voice. How is that possible? Where did you hear that?" Many experts were filled with disbelief. Because the Sun Moon Palace and Rome family's experts did not spread the news after they left, many experts in the cultivation dwelling were unaware of Thousand-Star Brilliance and Suikuewan's deaths. Lu Yiping didn't know about the discussions going on outside. After refining the 8th piece of the fortune jade disc, he didn't leave the cultivation dwelling immediately. Instead, he stayed inside the cultivation dwelling to comprehend the grand Tao contained in the 8th piece of the fortune jade disc. Other than the first piece of the fortune jade disc that contained 1000 grand Tao, the other pieces all contained 100 grand Tao. This 8th piece of the fortune jade disc also contained 100 grand Tao. Red Moon City, True Dragon Chamber of Commerce. Xia Yun was astounded looking at the message in his communication talisman. Lu Yiping is a Tao-confirming saint. The saint of heaven and earth. Suddenly, his communication talisman vibrated. It was a message from the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce headquarters. Chapter 380. The message from the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters was for him to make preparations to attend the True Dragon Conference. A super chamber of commerce like the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce would hold a True Dragon Conference every 100 years, gathering all branches' presidents to attend. Xia Yun sucked in a deep breath after reading the contents of the message. With trembling hands, he began to write down everything that happened in the barbarian dragon cave. Xia Yun carefully checked every word, and only after confirming that there were no problems did he send the message to the higher-ups. When Xia Yun told the higher-ups about what happened in the barbarian dragon cave, the higher-ups quickly passed it to the higher-ups, and the higher-ups passed it to the higher-ups, and finally to the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters president. The True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters president Xia Chuhan was chatting with the Heaven Divination cult's patriarch, Wu Yang, about the barbarian dragon ruler's death, the divine world's lack of a ruler, and the chaotic battle between various forces. Suddenly, he received a message from one of his subordinates. Looking at the flickering message talisman, Xia Chuhan frowned. The subordinate should know that he was meeting with Wu Yang. Why would he send a message to disturb him? Wu Yang saw the flickering message talisman in Xia Chuhan's hand and put down his teacup, smiling. President Xia, since it's a message talisman from one of your subordinates, you can take a look. It should be an urgent matter. Xia Chuhan nodded with a smile and apologized. He then took out the message talisman and opened it. Reading the message talisman, Xia Chuhan's eyes widened in shock, and his breathing quickened. Watching Xia Chuhan's reaction, Wu Yang felt strange and asked, President Xia, what's the matter? What matter could make Xia Chuhan, the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's president, so shocked? Xia Chuhan didn't conceal anything and passed the message talisman to Wu Yang. After all, with the Heaven Divination cult's influence, it wouldn't take long for them to find out about the barbarian dragon cave on the Fanua continent. Wu Yang doubtfully received the message talisman, and when he read it, he reacted the same way as Xia Chuhan, unable to conceal the shock on his face. The heavenly saint has appeared. Wu Yang felt his heart thumping madly. Several million years ago, the heavenly saint had appeared in the divine world. As the Heaven Divination cult's patriarch, he had a deep memory of this matter. Xia Chuhan took a deep breath and did her best to suppress the excitement in her heart. She stood up and sighed with emotion. I wonder if the heaven and earth saint's appearance in the God realm is a blessing or a curse. To many experts of the God world upper realm, the God world meant the upper realm. 100 years passed in the cave of the barbarian dragon. In the past 100 years, Lu Yiping had been sitting cross-legged under the tree of creation, comprehending the good fortune jade disc and cultivating the immortal skywood technique. Jian Shu had already grown to more than 230,000 meters. With the help of Jian Shu's Qi of Heaven and Earth and the Qi of Great Tao, Lu Yiping had almost fully comprehended the 8th jade plate of good fortune in the past 100 years. As for the immortal skywood art, it had already broken through to the 8th level. Back then, when Qian Xingyao and Sui Yukuan died, the Fanua continent was shaken. But after 100 years, the matter of the barbarian dragon cave gradually calmed down. Other than the occasional expert mentioning the matter, it was no longer as shocking as it was 100 years ago. On this day, while Lu Yiping was cultivating, he received a message from Xia Yun from the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce. It turned out that he had asked Xia Yun to help him find Tian Hong's whereabouts. In the past 100 years, the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce had been working hard to find him. And now, in the vast Fanua continent, they had finally found the Tian Hong that Lu Yiping had mentioned. Blue Phoenix sect, Yuzhe, nearly 2 meters tall, abnormally thick palms, and a green spot in his left eye. Lu Yiping read aloud. This was the result of the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's investigation. From the results of the investigation, this Yuzhe of the Blue Phoenix sect was the Tian Hong that Lu Yiping had been looking for. Other than sending the results of the investigation to Lu Yiping, the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce also explained the situation of the Blue Phoenix sect to Lu Yiping in detail. The Blue Phoenix sect wasn't a superpower of the Fanua continent, but a first-rate power. The strongest expert there was the previous sect master of the Blue Phoenix sect, a paramount god with terrifying will. On the surface, this Yuzhe was a god emperor with 6 clones. As for his true battle prowess, the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce couldn't determine it. Blue Phoenix sect. Lu Yiping stopped cultivating. After 100 years, it was time for him to go out for a walk. And so, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Grand Formation, left the Barbarian Dragon Cavern, and headed towards the Blue Phoenix sect. However, when they arrived at the Blue Phoenix sect, Taurus Longjiao seemed dispirited. Seeing Taurus Longjiao's dispirited appearance, Lu Yiping asked with a smile, "What's wrong? Are you thinking of your Tianqian again?" Taurus Longjiao was usually laughing, and rarely showed such an expression. Taurus Longjiao shook his head and sighed, becoming a saint is too difficult. Although he was at the peak of the late-stage sovereign realm, comparable to the ruler of the divine world, the barbarian dragon cavern, and was invincible in the divine world, he was much weaker in front of Lu Yiping. That was why he had been cultivating diligently all these years in an attempt to become a saint, but he had never succeeded. Above the peak of the late-stage sovereign realm was the saint realm, and above that was the true saint realm. Once one became a saint, there was hope for the Tao. If one couldn't become a saint, they would never be able to reach the true saint realm. If one couldn't become a saint, they would always be an ant. Lu Yiping said, "Although it's difficult to become a saint, you have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon and the lightning ancestor. One day, you will become a saint." The divine world was filled with geniuses. Since the primordial era, there had been countless monstrous geniuses, but none of them could become a saint. Even the ruler of the divine world, the barbarian dragon cavern, had no hope of becoming a saint. However, Taurus Longjiao had the bloodline of the ancestral dragon and the lightning ancestor. There was still hope for him to become a saint. Moreover, for millions of years, Taurus Longjiao had swallowed many good things and obtained many great opportunities by following him. Taurus Longjiao's accumulation was almost there. "No matter how difficult it is to become a saint, I won't give up." Taurus Longjiao's eyes shone brightly, and he said, "I will do my best to follow in Master's footsteps." He suddenly added, "After becoming a saint, the golden retriever on my head will shine even brighter." Lu Yiping was speechless. One day later, the two of them arrived at the Azure One sect. The founder of the Azure One sect was a divine beast Azure One, so it was named the Azure One sect. When they arrived at the mountain gate of the Azure One sect, the disciples guarding the gate stopped Lu Yiping and asked what the two of them were doing. "Is Elder Yuze of the Azure One sect here?" Lu Yiping said, "I have something to ask him. Or, you can ask your sect master to come out." Speaking of this, he casually pointed his finger. A dong-dong wave light column blasted into a mountain in the distance, piercing through it. After piercing through dozens of mountains, the dong-dong wave light column flew out of the 39th mountain. The disciples guarding the Azure Barbarian sect were stunned. They were shocked and hurriedly reported it to their superiors. After a while, a large group of masters of the Azure One sect flew out of the sect. There were tens of thousands of them. The leader was the sect master of the Azure One sect, a peak late-stage god ancestor. Zhongzhong of the Azure One sect soon arrived. The sect master of the Azure One sect looked at Lu Yiping in confusion. He had never seen this blue-robed young man before, but he felt a sense of familiarity. Chapter 381. He looked at the mountain peaks that were destroyed by Lu Yiping's finger, and his eyelids twitched. He cupped his fists at Lu Yiping and asked, "May I know why you two are looking for my Green Phoenix sect's Elder Yuze?" At this time, Taurus Longjiao released a portion of his aura. Instantly, heaven and earth rumbled, and the mountains shook. The Green Phoenix sect's main gate seemed to be hit by an invincible force, and the sect's grand protective formation rumbled as if it was about to explode. The Green Phoenix sect master and the tens of thousands of experts' faces changed. Suddenly, several figures rushed out from the Green Phoenix sect's ancestral ground, rushing over. The Green Phoenix sect master noticed that the person leading them was his master, the previous sect master of the Green Phoenix sect. "Master!" The Green Phoenix sect master and the others quickly went up to greet him. However, his master ignored him and went straight to Taurus Longjiao, saying in fear and trepidation, "Li Shen greets the Lord. I didn't know that the Lord was coming to my Green Phoenix sect, so I didn't go out to greet you. Please forgive me. The other Green Phoenix sect's ancestors also went up to greet him in fear and trepidation. The Green Phoenix sect master was shocked. His master was a paramount god with terrifying will, then who was this golden retriever man? A sovereign. Taurus Longjiao looked at the group of Green Phoenix sect's ancestors and said, "There's no need to go out to greet me. Is your Green Phoenix sect's elder Yuzhe here?" The group of Green Phoenix sect's ancestors looked at the Green Phoenix sect master. The Green Phoenix sect master quickly went up and said, "Yuzhe is cultivating in the secret territory, I'll order him to come over." Yuzhe's talent was very good, and he was one of the elders that the Green Phoenix sect focused on. Therefore, he was arranged to cultivate in the secret territory. At this time, Yuzhe and the others who were cultivating in the secret territory also felt Taurus Longjiao's terrifying sovereign aura, and they were all shocked. Yuzhe's communication talisman vibrated. Taking it out, he found that it was his sect master's communication talisman, telling him to go to the sect's main gate, saying that a senior was looking for him. After reading the communication talisman, Yuzhe felt uneasy. After leaving the secret territory, he didn't go to the sect's main gate, instead, he used all his strength and fled to the back mountain. Very quickly, the Azure Phoenix sect master received a report saying that Yuzhe was escaping towards the back of the mountain. He's escaping. The sect master's face. The expressions of his master and the Blue Phoenix sect's ancestors also changed. Seal the back of the mountain and bring Yuzhe here. His master shouted. The sect master of the Azure Phoenix sect respectfully complied, and quickly ordered to seal off the back mountain and capture Yuzhe. After sealing off the back of the mountain, Yuzhe was finally captured and brought to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. "Sirs, may I know what business you have with me?" Yuzhe was brought before Lu Yiping and asked in a trembling voice. "What's the matter?" Taurus Longjiao asked coldly, "You're from the Inbora race, right?" "What?" The experts of the Blue Phoenix sect looked at Yuzhe in shock. Yuzhe was from the Inyang Bora race? Taurus Longjiao didn't waste any more words with the other party. He immediately sealed the other party's divine power and left with Yuzhe and Lu Yiping. Seeing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao take Yuzhe away, no one from the Zhongzhong sect dared to stop them. "Sect master, that young man in blue seems to be the Saint Lu Yiping." Behind the sect master of the Blue Phoenix sect, a grand elder suddenly said. "Lu Yiping." The sect master of the Blue Phoenix sect and the other ancestors were shocked. "Are you sure?" The sect master of the Blue Phoenix sect asked the grand elder. "It should be." 100 years ago, in the barbarian dragon cauldron, he killed 1,000 star brilliance and Lord Yukuan with one cauldron. But it was too far away, and I only caught a glimpse. Plus, the heaven and earth cauldron Saint Chi was surging, so I wasn't sure. The grand elder stammered. After Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left with Yuzhe, they soon learned about the Inyang Bora race from Yuzhe. The Inyang Bora race's lair is in the Tianshui continent. Taurus Longjiao frowned. He originally thought that the Inyang Bora race's lair would be in the Fanhua continent. The Tianshui continent was far from the Fanhua continent, and Yuzhe only knew that it was in the Tianshui continent, but he didn't know where it was. Lu Yiping raised his finger and killed Yuzhe. "In that case, let's go to the Tianshui continent." Lu Yiping didn't mind. "It's been a while since I last saw little Tian. It's a good time to see him." The little Tian he mentioned was the Maze ruler, the founder of the Maze Divine sect, and one of his 4 direct disciples. The Maze Divine sect was in the Tianshui continent. Hearing Lu Yiping mention little Tian, Taurus Longjiao smiled. "It's been a while since I last saw little Tian. I didn't expect him to be a ruler already. If I don't become a saint soon, I'm afraid he'll catch up to me in a few million years. This kid must be cultivating on a chaos ship. He's so fast." Lu Yiping smiled. His 4 direct disciples were all monstrous geniuses. Of course, those who could become his direct disciples were also monstrous in other aspects, such as their Tao heart and comprehension. Are you saying that your cultivation speed is slow? Lu Yiping asked with a smile. Taurus Longjiao had only cultivated for a few million years. In the myriad of worlds, there were only a handful of people who could reach the peak of the late-stage sovereign realm in a few million years. Taurus Longjiao scratched his head and smiled. Of course it's slow compared to you, my lord. Lu Yiping smiled. The two of them headed for the Tianshui continent. After crossing several hundred continents, they finally arrived at the Tianshui continent. Like the Fanhua continent and the ancient Devil continent, the Tianshui continent was the main continent of the divine world. It was huge and had countless sects and clans. However, compared to the Fanhua continent, the Tianshui continent was different. There were many ancient races on the Tianshui continent, including the fairy race, the dwarf race, and the Tianxiang race. Lu Yiping's Tianxiang divine hell fist was created by the Tianxiang race. After arriving at the heavenly water continent, Lu Yiping saw a heavily injured expert from the celestial phenomenon race and decided to save him in passing. Through their conversation, the two of them learned that this expert was called Xiang Yuan, and he was an overgod of 4 elements. Xiang Yuan warmly invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao to visit the Tianxiang race. Do you know your Tianxiang race's Xiang Qing? Lu Yiping suddenly asked. Xiang Yuan was surprised. My lord knows our old ancestor Xiang Qing. Lu Yiping nodded. Xiang Yuan said, Lord Xiang Qing broke through to the paramount god realm several tens of thousands of years ago. Unfortunately, he was heavily injured by the 6 Stars Gate's old ancestor, Zhou Xiaoping. His roots were injured, and he was unable to recover. Injured his roots? Taurus Longjiao frowned. It was indeed difficult for a paramount god to recover from an injury to his roots. Even a sovereign would be helpless. If he couldn't recover, it would be difficult for him to advance in his cultivation. Yes. Xiang Yuan said, back then, Lord Xiang Qing found a chaos treasure in the Tianshui secret domain. Zhou Xiaoping saw him and tried to snatch it away. Lord Xiang Qing was no match for him and was heavily injured. The chaos treasure was also snatched away. Because of this, our Tianxiang race negotiated with the 6 Stars Gate many times. He shook his head and continued, however, our Tianxiang race is not as strong as the 6 Stars Gate, so the matter was left unsettled. Chapter 382. Is the 6 Stars Gate very strong? Lu Yiping asked calmly. Xiang Yuan nodded with a solemn expression. Very strong. The 6 Stars Gate is one of the strongest super sects in our heavenly water continent. Their strength is second only to the heavenly divine sect. They have 2 sovereigns. Oh, 2 sovereigns. Taurus Longjiao smiled evilly. Why does the 6 Stars Gate have so many sovereigns? Xiang Yuan didn't notice the hidden meaning in Taurus Longjiao's words. He nodded solemnly. The heavenly divine sect only has 1 sovereign, while the 6 Stars Gate has 2 sovereigns. They have the most sovereigns in our heavenly water continent. Our Tian Myriad race has tried to negotiate with the 6 Stars Gate many times, but the 6 Stars Gate didn't even bat an eyelid. The old ancestors who went to negotiate with them were beaten beyond recognition and thrown out of the 6 Stars Gate. If it weren't for our good relationship with the Elf race, Dwarf race, and Golden Lion race, the old ancestors who went to negotiate with the 6 Stars Gate would have been beaten to a pulp. Xiang Yuan's face was filled with anger, but there was also a deep sense of helplessness and unwillingness. Several days later, Lu Yiping's group of 3 arrived at the Tian Myriad race's territory. Although the Tian Myriad race wasn't one of the super sects in the heavenly water continent, they weren't weak either. They had dozens of paramount gods, so their territory wasn't small. Xiang Yuan was a 4-element overgod and a direct disciple of the Tian Myriad race. His bloodline was pure, so his status in the Tian myriad race wasn't low. He had a decent residence in the Concealed Sword City. The Concealed Sword City was one of the best cities in the Tian myriad race. The residence was given to Xiang Yuan by the Tian myriad race. Xiang Yuan brought Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan into the Concealed Sword City. Then, he had the people in the residence come out to greet Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan. That night, a banquet was held for Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan to thank them for saving him. If I remember correctly, Xiang Qing's residence used to be in the Concealed Sword City. Taurus Longjiao spoke during the banquet. Xiang Yuan paused for a moment, then laughed. Lord Shaojin, you might not know this, but after Lord Xiang Qing broke through to the paramount god level, he moved to Celestial Phenomenon City tens of thousands of years ago. He hesitated for a moment before he continued, however, ever since Lord Xiang Qing's foundation was severely injured by the Six Stars Gate's ancestor, Zhou Shao, he closed his mansion and hasn't left it for several tens of thousands of years. He only sees the patriarch and a few ancestors who are on good terms with him. He doesn't see anyone else. Xiang Yuan sighed and said, after Lord Xiang Qing's core was injured, even Lord Yan Yuyan of the elf race didn't come over. Yan Yuyan? Lu Yiping asked. Xiang Yuan explained, Yan Yuyan is a great beauty of the elf race. She's also one of the most talented experts in the elf race. She has been dating Lord Xiang Qing since several 100,000 years ago. However, ever since Lord Xiang Qing's foundation was injured and he couldn't recover, Yan Yuyan no longer came to Sky Phenomenon City. Pemicham, Lu Yiping's countenance was calm. Tomorrow, bring us to Tianxiang City. Just like how it should be. After the banquet was over, Xiang Yuan arranged the best courtyard for Lu Yiping and Huang Xiaolong. Lu Yiping stood in the courtyard, not cultivating. Instead, he was thinking about something. After refining the Barbarian Dragon Grand Formation and gaining control of the Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling, he learned that the Barbarian Dragon had several dozen cultivation dwellings in the Divine World. The Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling on the Brahma Moon continent was only one of them. As for becoming a sovereign, it was difficult. In order to become a sovereign, one not only needed talent, but also great opportunities. Hence, Xiang Yuan brought Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao out of the manor and headed towards Tianxiang City. Tianxiang City was a little far from Fu Sword City. Not long after Lu Yiping and the other two left Fu Sword City, they came across a flying ship. Seeing the 6 shining stars on the body of the flying ship, Xiang Yuan's face changed. It's the 6 Stars Gate's flying ship. The 6 Stars Gate's flying ship was extremely fast. It flew forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Xiang Yuan looked in the direction the flying ship disappeared and said, are they going to Tianxiang City too? Why are they going to Tianxiang City? One day later, Lu Yiping and the other two arrived at Tianxiang City. As soon as they entered the city, they heard many Tianxiang race's disciples discussing the 6 Stars Gate's arrival. The 6 Stars Gate is too much. They're here to borrow our Tianxiang race's Tianxiang ring. What? Borrow our Tianxiang race's Tianxiang ring? That's our Tianxiang race's most precious treasure. Tens of thousands of years ago, they injured our old ancestor Xiang Qing and many of our experts who went to negotiate with them. Now, they still have the face to borrow our Tianxiang ring. I heard that Zhou Shao is here too. However, with how overbearing the 6 Stars Gate is, they definitely won't return the Tianxiang ring. Chapter 383. But this time, the 6 Stars Gate sent many paramount gods. It seems like they are determined to borrow the astronomical bracelet. Lu Yiping and the other two overheard the discussion of the Tian elephant race's disciples. Xiang Yuan was furious when he heard what Huang Xiaolong said. How is the 6 Stars Gate borrowing? They are clearly robbing. They are trying to steal our astronomical bracelet. Don't worry, they won't be able to steal it. Taurus Longjiao said coldly. Xiang Yuan shook his head. The 6 stars gate is too powerful. Since they sent so many paramount gods, they must have already calculated the strength of the ancestors guarding our ancestral land. Before long, the 3 of them arrived at Xiang Qing's residence. As a paramount god, Xiang Qing's residence was located in the center of Tian Elephant City. It was very grand, and there were no guards at the entrance. A faint array formation enveloped the entire residence. Just as Xiang Yuan was about to shout, Lu Yiping said, "No need." With a flick of his finger, a thumb-sized divine dragon flew out and entered the residence's array formation. It entered the residence without any hindrance and flew towards the secret chamber in the deepest part of the residence. Xiang Yuan's heart trembled. The array formation in the residence was personally set up by their lord Xiang Qing. Even an ordinary paramount god would find it difficult to enter. However, the divine dragon condensed from Lu Yiping's energy easily passed through the residence's array formation. Moreover, the array formation didn't react at all. There wasn't even the slightest reaction. At this time, Xiang Qing was sitting cross-legged in a secret chamber in the deepest part of the residence. He was circulating his cultivation technique. Rays of light surged around him, and his god force fluctuated. A celestial phenomenon appeared behind him. But a moment later, the celestial phenomenon behind him collapsed. Xiang Qing's body trembled, and he stopped circulating his cultivation technique. His face was pale, and there was disappointment in his eyes. In the past tens of thousands of years, he had tried all kinds of methods, but to no avail. His astronomical phenomenon bloodline had been severely damaged by Zhou Shao, and now, he couldn't even condense a celestial phenomenon. All of a sudden, he saw a small black shadow pass through his secret chamber's restriction and fly towards him. Xiang Qing was shocked, and just as he was about to dodge, the small black shadow stopped in front of him. At this moment, he finally saw that this small black shadow was a small divine dragon. However, Xiang Qing's eyes gradually widened when he saw the little divine dragon. His face was filled with uncontrollable excitement. He stretched out his hand and the little divine dragon landed on his palm and turned into a character. The character was an ancient road character. Xiang Qing's hands trembled when he saw the word Lu. Holding the word, his figure flashed and he shot out of the mansion. Outside the mansion, Xiang Yuan was still surprised that Lu Yiping's small divine dragon could pass through Xiang Qing's mansion's grand formation without any hindrance. Suddenly, he saw a person rushing out of the mansion. That person was too fast. Before Xiang Yuan could react, that person had already arrived before the 3 of them. When Xiang Yuan saw the person rushing out of the mansion, he was shocked. Lord Xiang Qing. He was a core disciple of the Tian elephant race and had met Xiang Qing once during the Tian elephant race's General Assembly. When Xiang Qing arrived before the 3 of them, his eyes were fixed on Lu Yiping. His face was filled with excitement and his eyes were red. He walked towards Lu Yiping and suddenly knelt down. He said respectfully, "Xiang Qing greets the Lord." However, he was too excited and his voice was trembling. Xiang Yuan was stunned when he saw Xiang Qing kneeling in front of Lu Yiping and trembling in excitement. Xiang Qing was a paramount god of the Tian elephant race. Even if he met a paramount god of the same cultivation level, he wouldn't be able to kneel down in front of him. Lu Yiping looked at the excited Xiang Qing and reached out to help him up. He smiled and said, "It's been a few hundred years and you've already become a paramount god. Not bad." After being helped up by Lu Yiping, Xiang Qing revealed a smile. "It's all thanks to the Lord's guidance and the divine palette that you left behind. Otherwise, Xiang Qing wouldn't be where I am today." Then, he saluted Taurus Longjiao respectfully, "Lord Shaojin." Taurus Longjiao patted Xiang Qing's shoulder and smiled. "My master and I have heard about what happened to you. Don't worry, my master and I will help you get back at him." Xiang Qing was stunned for a moment. Then, he realized that Taurus Longjiao was referring to the matter of his origin being injured by Zhou Shao. Then, Xiang Qing invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao into his residence. Xiang Yuan followed behind them and his mind was in a mess. After entering the residence, Lu Yiping said, "Let's go to the secret chamber. I'll treat your injuries first." Xiang Qing complied respectfully and brought Lu Yiping to his secret chamber. As for Taurus Longjiao and Xiang Yuan, they waited in the main hall. At this time, in the Tian Elephant Race's main hall, Patriarch Xiang Li and the group of Tian Elephant Race's ancestors were glaring angrily at Zhou Shao's group. "What? Not only do you want to borrow the constellation ring, but you also want to borrow the constellation divine armor?" Ancestor Xiang Gan glared at the group of 6 stars gates experts. Those were the Tian Elephant Race's only 2 treasures, and now, the 6 stars gate wanted to borrow both of them. Other than the constellation ring, they also wanted the constellation divine armor. Zhou Shao looked at the group of Tian Elephant Race's experts and took a sip of tea. He smiled and said, "Everyone, please don't be angry. We're only borrowing it for 100 years. After 100 years, we'll return it to the Tian Elephant Race." "What? You want to borrow it for 100 years? Patriarch Xiang Li's face turned ugly. Initially, they thought that the 6 stars gate would only borrow the constellation ring for a short period of time. But now, they wanted to borrow it for 100 years. Xiang Gan and the group of Tian Elephant Race's ancestors also had ugly expressions on their faces. "Your 6 stars gate, don't go too far." Xiang Gan raged. "The constellation ring and constellation divine armor are our Tian Elephant Race's most precious treasures. We will never lend them to outsiders, much less for 100 years." Zhou Shao ignored Xiang Li, Xiang Gan, and the others' anger. He smiled and said, "Everyone, please calm down. Although we're borrowing the constellation ring and constellation divine armor for 100 years, we're not doing it for free. We will pay 100 million chaos spirit stones to the Tian Elephant Race every year." 100 million chaos spirit stones was definitely not a small sum to the Tian Elephant Race. 100 years was equivalent to 10 billion chaos spirit stones. Xiang Gan snorted coldly, "Pay 100 million chaos spirit stones every year? Your 6 stars gate's wishful thinking is quite good. You want to buy our constellation ring and constellation divine armor for 10 billion chaos spirit stones? Then, I'll also borrow the 6 stars sword from your 6 stars gate for 100 years, and I'll pay 100 million chaos spirit stones every year." Zhou Shao and the group of 6 stars gates experts' faces sank. Indifferent, another 6 stars gates expert sitting beside Zhou Shao sneered, "I'll make it clear to you today. Even if you don't want to, you have to lend us the constellation ring and constellation divine armor." His will surged out, shaking heaven and earth. "Invincible realm will." Xiang Gan stared at the 6 stars gates expert in shock. At this time, Zhou Shao's will also surged out. Xiang Gan and the group of Tian Elephant Race's ancestors felt their bodies grow heavy. It was as if 10,000 mountains were pressing down on their souls. "You've already broken through to the invincible realm?" One of the Tian Elephant Race's ancestors who had fought with Zhou Shao stared at Zhou Shao in shock. The group of Tian Elephant Race's experts' faces tightened. They hadn't expected the 6 stars gate to send 2 invincible realm supremes. Chapter 384. Invincible paramount gods were said to be invincible beneath the sovereign lord level, capable of sweeping aside terrifying and even vaster paramount gods. As for the celestial mammoth clan, they only had one invincible over-god, Mammoth Gon. The patriarch of the Tian myriad race, Xiang Li, took a deep breath and said, "Even if you have 2 paramount gods with you, it won't change anything. The Tian myriad race will not lend the Tian myriad divine armor and the Tian myriad ring to the 6 stars gate." Zhou Shao's expression turned frosty. "I gave you face, but you don't want it. You're courting death. After speaking, his will of will blasted towards Xiang Li. Although Xiang Li wasn't weak, he was only an ordinary paramount god. How could he possibly withstand the will of an invincible expert? He felt as if a mountain had slammed into him, and blood sprayed out of his mouth and nose. The group of ancestors from the Tian elephant race didn't expect Zhou Shao to suddenly make a move. Moreover, he did it in front of everyone in the main hall. You're too arrogant, Zhou Shao. Enraged, Mammoth Gon unleashed a barrage of willpower toward Zhou Shao. Zhou Shao activated his willpower and clashed with Xiang Qian. Formless willpower exploded. Waves of air billowed. The Tian myriad race's experts retreated in shock. Zhou Shao and Xiang Qian both retreated at the same time. The two of them were evenly matched. I can't believe your willpower is so strong. Xiang Gan took several steps back, looking at Zhou Shao in surprise. Logically speaking, Zhou Shao had just broken through to the invincible realm, so it was impossible for him to compete with him. However, Zhou Shao's willpower just now was not weaker than his at all. Zhou Shao looked at Xiang Qian and chuckled, Xiang Qian, I advise you to hand over the Constellation Ring and Constellation Divine Armor. Otherwise. Then, he swept his gaze over the group of Heavenly Elephant Race's experts in the main hall, otherwise, don't blame our 6 Stars Gate for bullying the weak. The other invincible overgod of the 6 Stars sect suddenly sent his willpower toward the group of experts of the Celestial Phenomenon clan. In the Great Hall, the experts from the Tian myriad race were shocked. They circulated their wills of will, but they only felt their soul seize rumbling as they staggered back, coughing up mouthfuls of blood. One strike. More than 40 ancestors of the Tian myriad race suffered soul injuries. This was how terrifying the will of an invincible overgod was. Stop! Right at this moment, a figure suddenly rushed over from the horizon and arrived at the main hall in the blink of an eye. Seeing who it was, Zhou Shao smiled. So it's you, trash. The newcomer was none other than Xiang Qing. What's wrong, you piece of trash? Back then, I severely injured your foundation. Now, you want to experience it again? Zhou Shao laughed. The experts of the 6 Stars sect smiled. Xiang Qing glared at Qin Wentian. A celestial phenomenon appeared behind him, and a terrifying will gushed out. Looking at the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing, Zhou Shao was stunned. Your injuries have healed. Xiang Gan and the other experts from the Tian myriad race were also surprised. They were well aware of Xiang Qing's injuries. Over the past tens of thousands of years, they had tried all kinds of spiritual medicines and methods on Xiang Qing, but none of them worked. A few years ago, their patriarchs had even joined forces to treat Xiang Qing, but it was to no avail. Now, his injuries had actually recovered. Moreover, looking at the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing, his injuries had completely healed. Suddenly, the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing emitted layers of golden light. It's the light of a celestial phenomenon. Xiang Gan and the others exclaimed in surprise. The light of a celestial phenomenon only appeared when one's bloodline had reached the pinnacle of purity. However, there were only a handful of people in the Tian myriad race who had reached the pinnacle of purity. One was their Tian myriad race's primal ancestor, and the other was one of their primal ancestor's sons. Thus, the Tian myriad race's experts were ecstatic when they saw the light of a celestial phenomenon. Oh, the light of a celestial phenomenon. Zhou Shao was surprised. He looked at Xiang Qing and sneered, Brat, it seems like you've had a fortuitous encounter. Not only have your injuries healed, but your bloodline's purity has also reached the pinnacle. But so what? You're still an ordinary expert. If I want to kill you, it's as easy as flipping my hand. Saying this, Zhou Shao's invincible will press down on Xiang Qing. However, when Zhou Shao's will reached Xiang Qing, it disappeared without a trace. It was as if there was an invisible abyss around Xiang Qing that devoured Zhou Shao's will. Not only Zhou Xiao and the 6 stars sex experts, but even the Tian myriad races experts were stunned. The other invincible supremacy god from the 6 stars sect also circulated his will to suppress Xiang Qing. But the same thing happened. When his will reached Xiang Qing, it disappeared without a trace. Everyone was bewildered. Suddenly, Zhou Xiao punched out. Fist waves rolled out and arrived in front of Xiang Qing in an instant. Just as the fist waves were about to swallow Xiang Qing whole, 2 figures, one blue and one golden, appeared beside Xiang Qing. No one saw how these 2 figures appeared. When the golden figure arrived, he directly punched out. In an instant, a terrifying golden fist light whistled through heaven and earth as it collided with Zhou Xiao's fist waves. Zhou Xiao's fist waves were instantly dispersed. After which, the golden fist light broke through space, directly piercing through Zhou Xiao's chest. Zhou Xiao screamed in agony as he slammed into the stone pillar of the celestial phenomenon race's great hall. Zhou Xiao fell from the stone pillar and vomited blood. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. They turned to look at the 2 figures that appeared. Their gazes were fixed on the burly man from the golden retriever who sent Zhou Xiao flying with a single punch. Of course, the 2 figures were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Who are you? Zhou Xiao looked at Taurus Longjiao in fear. Taurus Longjiao reached out and pulled Zhou Xiao to his front. Zhou Xiao, right? Taurus Longjiao grinned. His hand tightened, and Zhou Xiao heard the sound of bones breaking. Just as the other invincible overgod from the 6 stars gate was about to attack, Taurus Longjiao flicked his finger. The invincible overgod from the 6 stars gate was sent flying and turned into a rain of blood. Watching the invincible overgod from the 6 stars gate turn into a rain of blood, the ancestors from the 6 stars gate were dumbfounded. Even Xiang Gan and the other experts from the Tian myriad race turned pale with fright. Taurus Longjiao remained indifferent. He couldn't kill Thousand Star Brilliance or Sui Yukuan, but crushing a overgod to death was a piece of cake for him. Zhou Xiao's face turned pale when he saw the invincible overgod from the 6 stars gate being killed. Even an ordinary sovereign realm expert wouldn't be able to kill an invincible overgod so easily. Taurus Longjiao punched out. Torrential lightning surged into Zhou Xiao's body, destroying every inch of Zhou Xiao's body. Zhou Xiao screamed in agony. The ancestors from the 6 stars gate were horrified, but none of them dared to make a sound or step forward. When the lightning dissipated, Zhou Xiao's body was torn apart. Blood spurted out from his mouth, and fear filled his eyes. You destroyed my stellar sea source. Taurus Longjiao threw Zhou Xiao to a corner of the hall. He then looked at the other ancestors from the 6 stars gate. This time, the 6 stars gate had sent a total of 30 overgods. Other than the 2 invincible overgods, there were 10 vast overgods. Chapter 385. Seeing Taurus Longjiao looking at them, the remaining ancestors of the 6 stars gate paled, including the 10 cosmic overgods. Lord, our 6 stars gate has already submitted to Lord 8 Desolation. Please spare us for Lord 8 Desolation's sake. One of the 6 stars gate's cosmic overgods pleaded. The other ancestors of the 6 stars gate were submissive. 8 Desolation Overlord? Xiang Qian exclaimed in shock. Xiang Qing and the Tian myriad races experts were shocked. The 8 Desolation Overlord was one of the strongest war gods under the barbarian dragon Overlord. After the barbarian dragon Overlord fell, the 8 Desolation Overlord established himself as the Overlord and divided the divine world with 3 other overlords. He had trillions of troops under his command and countless experts spread across countless continents. Who would have thought that the 6 stars gate would submit to the 8 Desolation Overlord? Oh, the 8 Desolation Overlord? Taurus Longjiao's expression remained unchanged as he chuckled. You mean that octopus? Octopus? Everyone was stunned. Then, they recalled that the 8 Desolation Overlord's true form was an 8-clawed golden octopus. For a moment, the ancestors of the 6 Stars Gate didn't know how to respond. Suddenly, a divine talisman flew out from one of the 6 Stars Gate's cosmic overgods. The divine talisman emitted 7-colored starlight that wrapped around his body. That's the 7-colored star divine talisman of the 6 Stars Gate's founder. It can travel through time. Xiang Qian exclaimed. The founder of the 6 Stars Gate was the Heavenly Water Continent's #1 expert in array formations. The 7-colored star divine talisman could travel through time and space. It was the #1 divine talisman for escaping. At the same time, another 7-colored star divine talisman flew out from the 6 Stars Gate's other cosmic overgod. Just as the power of the 7-colored star divine talisman was about to bring the two of them away, the crowd saw that the 7-colored star divine talisman, which was originally emitting layers of starlight, suddenly stopped. The light disappeared, and like a piece of paper, it suddenly burned and turned into ashes. The 6 Stars Gate's experts were stunned. Why did the 7-colored star divine talisman suddenly burst into flames? Taurus Longjiao didn't make a move just now. At this time, Taurus Longjiao struck out with his palm. Lightning engulfed heaven and earth, engulfing the 6 Stars Gate's group of ancestors. All of them were sent flying into the sky, and a rain of blood splattered everywhere. When the Tianxiang race saw the 6 Stars sect's ancestors turned into a rain of blood, they were shocked beyond words. These were 28 overgods, and yet, Taurus Longjiao had casually slapped them to death with a single palm strike. They hadn't been able to fight back at all. Taurus Longjiao looked at Zhou Shao, who had been tossed into a corner. Of the 30 paramount gods who had come to the 6 Stars Gate, only Zhou Shao was left. Who are you? Zhou Shao looked at Taurus Longjiao and suppressed the fear in his heart. He said, actually, we, the 6 Stars Gate, are only following orders to borrow the astronomical bracelet and astronomical divine armor. Acting on orders? Xiang Qian and the others were surprised. Zhou Shao nodded, that's right, we are here on Sir Qin Hong's orders to borrow the Constellation Ring and Constellation Divine Armor. Sir Qin Hong is one of the 64 war generals under Sir 8 Desolations. Qin Hong. Xiang Qian and the others were shocked. The 8 Desolations sovereign was one of the 4 strongest sovereigns in the divine world. He had 64 war generals under his command, and every one of them was a mid-stage sovereign realm expert. Everyone knew that Qin Hong was a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert. Xiang Qian, Xiang Li, and the others looked at each other. They didn't expect Qin Hong to send the 6 Stars Gate to borrow the Heavenly Horn Bracelet and Constellation Divine Armor. The Tianxiang race's experts couldn't help but panic. Oh, Qin Hong. Lu Yiping, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke. Zhou Shao said, that's right, Sir Qin Hong. Sir Qin Hong is in my 6 Stars Gate right now. Taurus Longjiao raised a finger, and a bolt of lightning struck Zhou Shao, turning him into ashes. With that, all 30 paramount gods from the 6 Stars Gate had died. The Tianxiang race's experts stared at Zhou Shao, who was the last to die, in silence. No one dared to speak. After calming down, Xiang Qing introduced Lu Yiping to Xiang Qian, Xiang Li, and the others. Old ancestor, let me introduce you. This is Lord Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qing introduced to Xiang Qian. Lord Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qian and the Tianxiang race's experts shuddered when they heard that the blue-robed young man in front of them was the Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qian stuttered, Lord Cosmos Saint. At this time, in the 6 Stars Gate's Great Hall located far away from the Tianxiang race's headquarters, Qin Hong sat on the throne at the center of the hall and asked the founder, Tao Yuan, is there still no news from Zhou Shao? Tao Yuan hurriedly replied, rest assured, Lord. Zhou Shao and the others will definitely bring back the Heavenly Horn Bracelet and Constellation Divine Armor. The Tianxiang race won't dare to not hand them over. After a moment of hesitation, Tao Yuan asked, Lord, what about the heavenly divine sect? When he led the 6 stars gate to submit to the 8 desolations sovereign, the 8 desolations sovereign had promised to help him sweep across the heavenly water continent and eliminate the heavenly confusion divine sect. This time, the 8 desolations sovereign had sent Qin Hong over to help him deal with the heavenly confusion divine sect. Qin Hong glanced at Tao Yuan and said, Don't worry, it's just the heavenly confusion divine sect. With me around, what are you worried about? When the heavenly horn bracelet and constellation divine armor are brought back, I'll go with you to the heavenly confusion divine sect and deal with that brat Mi Tian. Tao Yuan laughed, with Lord Qin Hong around, I'm naturally not worried. I'm just worried that brat Mi Tian would escape after hearing the news. Qin Hong didn't mind Tao Yuan's words, he can escape from the heavenly water continent, but he can't escape the divine world. Indifferent added, that brat Mi Tian doesn't know what's good for him. He dares to reject Lord 8 Desolations. He will know the consequences of rejecting Lord 8 Desolations. Another hour passed. Qin Hong got up from his throne and paced around the hall. He stopped after a while and said to Tao Yuan, Contact Zhou Shao. Tao Yuan nodded and contacted Zhou Shao. However, even after a long time, there was no reply. Tao Yuan frowned and tried to contact the other invincible paramount god who had gone with Zhou Shao, but he still didn't get a reply. Tao Yuan's face darkened. He summoned the sect master of the 6 stars gate and asked him to contact the other paramount gods. However, no matter who he contacted, he didn't get a reply. Tao Yuan's brows were tightly locked together. Qin Hong looked at Tao Yuan and the others, and he said solemnly, It seems like something happened. He was referring to Zhou Shao's group. Tao Yuan said, The Tian-Xiang race only has one invincible paramount god. With the Tian-Xiang race's strength, it's impossible for them to be a match for Zhou Shao's group. Qin Hong was also puzzled. He thought for a moment and said, Send someone to investigate what happened. Tao Yuan nodded. Right at this time, 2 figures, one golden and one blue, appeared in the air above the 6 stars gate's main hall. They were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Because Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not conceal their auras, Qin Hong, Tao Yuan, and the others raised their heads and saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao at the same time. Who are you two? Why did you come to my 6 stars gate? Tao Yuan looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao with suspicion. Lu Yiping didn't look at Tao Yuan. Instead, his gaze fell on Qin Hong. You are 8 Desolations subordinate, Qin Hong. I heard that 8 Desolations is cooperating with the Dark Borer race to unify the divine world. Is that right? Under the giant golden palm's force, the 6 stars gate's great hall and the surrounding mountain peaks were reduced to dust. No one saw how Lu Yiping moved, but Qin Hong, who was smashed into the ground, was lifted up and landed in front of Lu Yiping. With a casual flick of his wrist, Lu Yiping sealed Qin Hong's god power and threw him into the heaven and earth cauldron. Then, he raised his palm toward the sky. Above the firmament, thunderclouds gathered and spread out. In the blink of an eye, the thunderclouds covered the 6 stars gate's great hall. Tao Yuan, who was smashed into the mountain peak, was alarmed when he sensed the terrifying lightning energy contained in the thunderclouds. He screamed, Run! Then, he turned around and ran for his life. The 6 stars gate's disciples were frightened, and all of them tried their best to escape. While the 6 stars gate's disciples were fleeing, a buzzing sound echoed in the air. Streaks of dazzling lightning flashed across the sky, and endless lightning water poured down from the thunderclouds, submerging the 6 stars gate's great hall. Many of the 6 stars gate's ancestors were submerged by the lightning water before they could escape. This lightning water was the origin of chaos divine lightning, and it was the origin of all lightning energy in the world. After a long time, the lightning water stopped and gradually dissipated. The Six Stars Gate's Great Hall had completely disappeared. The Six Stars Gate was the heavenly water continent's second largest force, second only to the heavenly Me divine sect. Many of its cities were also reduced to dust. Some of the Six Stars Gate's disciples, who were lucky enough to escape, looked at the Six Stars Gate's Great Hall, and their minds went blank. Half an hour ago, the Six Stars Gate's Great Hall was filled with countless palaces, tens of billions of disciples were patrolling, and tens of millions of flying ships were shuttling back and forth. Half an hour later, the Six Stars Gate's Great Hall had turned into ruins. No, it wasn't even ruins. It had turned into a wasteland. Tao Yuan and the other sovereign realm expert of the Six Stars Gate had just escaped when they saw a giant cauldron falling from the sky. Tao Yuan and the other sovereign realm expert were about to dodge when the giant cauldron struck them. Both of them exploded into countless pieces. Lu Yiping retrieved the cauldron of heaven and earth and left with Taurus Longjiao. After leaving the Six Stars Gate, they arrived at a wasteland. Lu Yiping threw Qin Hong out of the cauldron of heaven and earth. You're the saint of heaven and earth. After being thrown out of the cauldron of heaven and earth, Qin Hong looked at Lu Yiping with fear in his eyes. Lu Yiping didn't waste any time. He directly extracted Qin Hong's memory fragments and started to read about the Yinba clan. Since 8 Desolation had cooperated with the Yinba clan, as one of 8 Desolation's generals, Qin Hong should know something about the Yinba clan. After a while, after reading Qin Hong's memory fragments, Lu Yiping killed Qin Hong with a finger. Then, he and Taurus Longjiao headed to the land of Black Devils in the Heavenly Water Continent. From Qin Hong's memory, Lu Yiping learned that the Yinba clan's lair in the Heavenly Water Continent was in the land of Black Devils. Lu Yiping came to the Heavenly Water Continent mainly to find the Yinba clan's lair. It was a pleasant surprise that he learned about the Yinba clan's lair from Qin Hong's memory. The land of Black Devils was at the northern end of the Heavenly Water Continent, and beyond it was the endless ocean. Taurus Longjiao looked at the land of Black Devils, which was filled with surging devil qi, and said with a smile, "It seems that when we find the Yinba clan's lair in the future, we should look for dangerous places where no one comes." Lu Yiping smiled. It made sense. The Yinba clan's lair was all set up in these dangerous places where no one came. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao broke through the devil qi of the land of Black Devils and entered the land of Black Devils. Lu Yiping didn't use the Eye of Thunder punishment. He paid attention to Jianshu's movements as he moved forward. Sure enough, not long after they entered the land of Black Devils, Jianshu shook violently. Lu Yiping flew in the direction that Jianshu sensed. Finally, the two of them arrived in front of a swamp. The nest of the Yinyang borer race was under the swamp. Chapter 387. At the same time, in the alternate space under the swamp, the Dark Borer race's leader, Yin Qi, asked his subordinate, "Is Qin Hong in the Six Stars Gate?" "Yes." The subordinate quickly answered, then asked, "Lord, is the Holy Lord really going to help Ba Huang unify the divine world?" Yin Qi sneered, "Do you think Ba Huang can unify the divine world?" The subordinate was stunned. Yin Qi said, "Saint Lord asked Ba Huang to hold the God World's Conference of Myriad Clans in a few years. Saint Lord did say that he would help Ba Huang eliminate the Myriad Clans and do Yi during the Conference of Myriad Clans so that he could unify the God World. However, do you really think that we would let an outsider like Ba Huang sit on the throne of the God World's master?" The subordinate smiled. This subordinate understands. He then added, "That brat Qin Hong has been in the Heavenly Water Continent for a few days, but he hasn't contacted the Holy Lord." Ba Huang's subordinates are getting more and more disrespectful. Yin Qi sneered, "In a few years, Ba Huang will die in the convention, and his subordinates will also be thrown into the heaven-suppressing coffin by the Holy Lord, and refined into heavenly corpses." Right at this time, a loud explosion resounded, and the alien space beneath the swamp shook violently, as if it was on the verge of collapsing. Destructive energy struck every corner of the alien space, and some of the weaker Inyang Borer race experts were blasted to smithereens by this destructive energy. Yin Chi and his subordinates were shocked, and they flew out from the main hall. The moment they left the main hall, they saw the surrounding cities crumbling, and the ground cracking. Their Dark Borer race experts were running for their lives, screaming in pain. "Who is it?" Yin Chi roared in anger. Two figures, one blue and one gold, walked out from the void. "Who are you?" Yin Chi's face was cold. Taurus Longjiao looked at Yin Chi and the others below, and he laughed, "The people who will kill you. You talk big." Yin Chi laughed indifferent, and he flew up to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, and he struck out a palm at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Like Qin Hong, Yin Chi was a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert. When he struck out with his palm, a frigid Yin energy roared. This was the Yin Borer race's Yin Borer power. The Yin Borer clan was born with an extremely cold Yin Borer power in their bloodline. It was one of the strongest cold Yin Borer powers in the myriad worlds. Taurus Longjiao smiled when he saw Yin Chi's palm coming towards him. He waved his palm and met the attack head-on. Taurus Longjiao's palm did not seem to contain any power, but Yin Chi's was like snow in a furnace, instantly dissipating. Yin Chi only felt a terrifying and invisible force rushing towards her. Yin Chi's face changed. She changed her palm into a fist and punched out with both fists. When he punched out with his fists, his arms doubled in size. His fists turned pitch black, and the power of the Yin Borer soared. But in the next moment, an enormous bang that shook the heavens resounded. Yin Chi felt her entire body stop, and it seemed as if she'd been struck by an enormous chaotic mountain. She was blasted flying and smashed fiercely into the city below, causing the city to be blasted into powder. Yin Chi's subordinates were dumbfounded. At this time, Taurus Longjiao took a step forward and arrived in front of Yin Chi's several hundred subordinates. He punched out, and lightning flashed across the sky. Numerous lightning gods formed in the sky. Yin Chi's subordinates were shocked. They hurriedly attacked, but they were all sent flying by Taurus Longjiao's fist force. Even Yin Chi, a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert, could not withstand his punch, let alone these paramount gods. In the Yin Borer race's nest, other than Yin Chi, there were only paramount gods, god ancestors, and god emperors. Taurus Longjiao's body flickered continuously. Every time he punched out, blood would splatter into the sky. After a long time, Yin Chi crawled out from the ruins of the city. She saw that the several hundred subordinates had been killed by Taurus Longjiao. Yin Chi looked at Lu Yiping in the sky. Her figure flickered, and she suddenly grabbed at Lu Yiping. Looking at the approaching Yin Chi, Lu Yiping did not move, allowing the other party to grab him. When Yin Chi grabbed Lu Yiping, before she could rejoice, she was blasted away by a terrifying force. Her arm was blasted off, and she fell to the ground. She looked at Lu Yiping in fear. This young man was even more terrifying than the golden retriever. Was he a paramount god? There were differences in strength between peak late-stage sovereigns. Some peak late-stage sovereigns could defeat other peak late-stage sovereigns. They were called paramount gods. Who are you? How did you find this place? Yin Chi suppressed her fear and asked angrily. Taurus Longjiao walked over and said, "How did we find this place?" "Of course, it was Qin Hong who told us." "Qin Hong?" Yin Chi's face sank. She looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao and said, "The two of you." But before she could say anything, Lu Yiping pulled her in front of him. Lu Yiping held her neck and began to look through her memory fragments. Soon, Lu Yiping squeezed her neck and crushed her. Flying Dragon Continent. Lu Yiping muttered. From Inchi's memory fragments, he knew that the Flying Dragon continent was the Dark Borer race's headquarters in the Divine World. Back then, the barbarian dragon ruler's heavenly court was established on the Flying Dragon continent. Although the barbarian dragon ruler had already fallen and his heavenly court had long since collapsed, the Flying Dragon continent could still be said to be the most prosperous and strongest continent in the god realm. Not only was the Dark Borer race's headquarters on the Flying Dragon continent, but the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters and the Eight Desolation Heavenly Court's headquarters were also on the Flying Dragon continent. Many other superpowers' headquarters were also on the Flying Dragon continent. After knowing that the Dark Borer race's headquarters was on the Flying Dragon continent, Lu Yiping was not in a hurry to go there. Instead, he went to the treasury and entered. Inside the treasury, there were all kinds of treasures, chaos spiritual herbs, and chaos grade materials. There was no end in sight. Lu Yiping found the building tree in the depths of the treasury. There were more building tree pieces in the Dark Borer race's treasury than the Purple Extreme Demon race's treasury on the Brahma Moon continent. Looking at the endless building tree pieces, Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, after devouring all of these tree pieces, the building tree should be able to grow to 300,000 meters, right? Currently, the building tree had grown to 230,000 meters, 60,000 meters away from 300,000 meters. Once it grew to 300,000 meters, all of the chaos chi would transform into black and yellow chi. Lu Yiping shook his head and said, I'm afraid it's not enough. Although there were many building tree pieces here, it was still difficult for it to grow to 300,000 meters. After all, the further it grew, the harder it was to grow. Lu Yiping immediately sat down cross-legged and summoned the building tree. In an instant, the building tree shone brightly, and all of the building tree pieces in the treasury flew toward the building tree. They attached themselves to the building tree and began to merge with it. Soon, the building tree reached 240,000 meters. Half a day later, it reached 250,000 meters. 2 days later, it reached 260,000 meters. However, when the building tree reached 280,000 meters, its growth slowed down. When all of the building tree pieces were absorbed, the building tree stopped at 280,000 meters. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.